the Lotto Max tomorrow night, $75 million. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca, and of course the Daily Grand tonight. Also, if you want to head over to the sports section, you get the Jason Gregor Show bonuses. Those will be going up shortly. We've got a couple fun parlays mixed in there: hockey, basketball, and baseball. Go check it out, playalberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. We got Declan Kruger here as well. Country Mac, keeping us on track on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as former NHLer Sean Brown joining us in studio, the 21st overall pick back in 1995, the Boston Bruins. Brownie, how you doing today?
Connor, but thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it was. How was your weekend? For everyone, you eat lots of food, and I mean, for you, it's got to be exciting. You got a young family, so how did it go?
Yeah, it was good. Lots of food, like you mentioned.
Yep.
The young guy doesn't really get it. He's
Yep.
still kind of trying to figure it all out.
Yep.
Knows there's lots of chocolate that he can eat, but loves whipping the eggs on the ground.
Yep.
So that was fun. Other than that, though, yeah, there's lots of good family time.
So
How about you?
is he moving around? Is he like, are you doing the Easter egg hunt?
He likes to cling on to people and walk with them.
Yeah.
So he's not quite running around the backyard or anything like that. But simplified it down for him.
That's funny.
He got some clothes. He got all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
The fun stuff that he really likes, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know how it is in your house, but it sounds similar to mine. It's like when I grew up, Easter was, if you were lucky, you'd get one of those big solid chocolate bunnies.
Yeah.
That was the Cadillac of gifts that I would get.
We
and
had
my friends would get
the hollow egg that had like a bag of fuzzy peaches or something inside, or Sour Patch Kids. That was the big one for us.
Yeah.
And then like the tinfoil wrapped eggs.
Yeah,
well.
you get those
house.
are a gimme for sure.
How was yours?
It was good. Yeah, we're at the opposite end. Obviously, my son not being here, away at school, but we just spent it with my daughter. She went out the night before, so you gotta, instead of them rushing to wake you up, you gotta wait for them to get up.
Yeah.
But it was. We were having a laugh about it because she was wondering. It took us my wife didn't bring out the Easter basket right away.
Oh.
So it was like, well, where's the basket? And it's like, hey, haven't you outgrown this? She's like, hell no.
19?
She's 18, turning 19.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you got to keep it going for a few more years.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think, my wife would ever not let it keep going.
Yeah.
She's really into that stuff, very festive and stuff. And I appreciate that because, I feel like I'm festive. And I remember, she takes it to the next level. Like, we have the decorations, and my wife loves feeding people, loves having people over. And I'm always kind of like, and she's like, you know what? If you don't celebrate the small things, then what's the point of living?
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, yeah, good point.
Does she go all out for every holiday?
Everything. My wife just loves having people. She's a great cook and loves feeding people, having people over. Right. And the thing is, they don't leave. Right. Like,
space for
quit
everyone.
feeding them so well.
Yeah.
And taking care of everyone. No one's leaving.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Anyway, it's nice. The people you have over, obviously you enjoy. So it was really good. I had an interesting situation though this morning. I want to get your feedback on it. So I go to Tim Hortons twice a day at least, just for a coffee.
Big coffee guy.
Yeah. And so I just like having it in my truck. So I grab a coffee and I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to make an effort of drinking more water throughout the day. And so I grab a coffee and I'm like, hey, can I just get a cup of water? And I get up there and I pay, and it's 20 cents more for my coffee. And I was like, what's the 20 cents? And they're like, well, you got to pay for the water, the tap water.
Oh.
I was a little disappointed in that.
I got a solution.
It's
go to
a paper
McDonald's.
cup.
I did.
There you go.
There you go. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going to McDonald's. And so I went to
That's easy.
McDonald's and I asked for a coffee and tap water. They didn't have a large, so they gave me 2 small, and I got a cheaper coffee. So I'm done with Tim
Some
Hortons.
say it's better too.
I thought,
People like me.
it's a little further from my house, but I was a little rattled. Do you think that's fair? Where do you come out on that?
I think tap water, for you're making that much money.
Yeah.
Give people a glass of water.
I
think I'm with you on this one.
Absolutely.
When we brought in some chai latte mix here, the Duke and I. So over the mornings you have a chai latte.
Yeah.
Very fancy. There's some in the fridge if you want one. And went to McDonald's, asked for a cup of ice. Yeah, free of charge, of course.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of McDonald's. Just I do like their coffee. just out of convenience, Tim Hortons is a little bit closer, and just I'm a creature of habit, right?
Yeah.
You just get into the same routine, but yeah, now I'm a McDonald's guy now. Sorry, Tim's.
Sherwood Park McDonald's. Get to remember the face.
Y Road.
Today on this show, we got a lot of things we are going to talk about. Of course, we got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning coming up in the final hour of the show with Mark Spector. Kevin Woodley will be by at 4:20. A little later in the program, he's working with the Vegas Golden Knights this afternoon. We're going to talk to Eduardo Encina, covers the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times, because the Lightning right now, what a race in that division. With the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens right in there. It's absolutely fantastic. We'll talk to Zach Lang from Oilers Nation, as well as Matt Barrett, the voice of the Oil Kings. Brownie, you're going to the Oil Kings game tonight. What action we've seen from this first round series against the Blades? Blades took game 1. Oil Kings bounce back. Blades get game 3. Oil Kings bounce back. That's been how it is. And then it goes to overtime last night, and Holinka kid. All he does is put up points here. Miroslav Holinka, 5th-round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs a couple years ago, 11 points, 7 goals in 6 games so far. And we got Game 7 tonight down at Rogers Place, 7 o'clock puck drop. Tickets, oilkings.ca, starting at just $20. You've been with the organization in the past. Great hockey. It's going to be awesome down there tonight, but what a series.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't followed it overly close. Obviously, any Game 7 is going to be special. And you know what? When I think back with my time with the Oil Kings, I mean, what a great organization, right? I mean, there aren't too many organizations that run it and have access to what they have access to. Like, if your kid is lucky enough to play and they're drafted and play with the Oil Kings, I mean, it's pretty special. They treat the kids so well. They got a great staff. Obviously, it's a guy that I played with, and Jason Smith. And, just with his experience and the way he is as a person, I think it's a great it's a great spot. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go down there. I think the margin of error and in this series is very small. And who doesn't love junior hockey? I mean, the kids are so talented now, right? They skate well. They're little pros. I mean, but the nice part about it is they have more breakdowns, which is more entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, Game 7 is it can go either way. I'm excited for the city, excited for them, and I'm kind of hoping. I'm definitely going to the game, but I'm hoping that Kevin Radomski, if you're listening, I'm hoping he reaches out to me and I get a couple complimentary tickets, which would be nice.
And bring you up to the press box.
There you go.
We could probably make that happen at the very least.
I'm sure I could get up there, but Kevin is a guy that I've got to know through the Oilers back in the day, and now he's working with the Oil Kings, and just another great, another good person that does a lot of great things for that organization. And so it'll be good. There's Vern Fiddler's kid. It's always nice. It's funny, right? I mean, I used to work out with Vern and played against him, and it's nice to see their kids kind of coming through, and his kid's obviously an up and coming talent on the back end there as a defenseman. So it'll be good to see.
Yeah, they've got some players on this team, right? And finished 3rd in the Western or Eastern Conference. So obviously a top end team, and I love the WHL. I got a chance to do the on-site production back in the day with the team that went to the league final 3 straight years. Yeah. So a young Curtis Lazar, Griffin Reinhart, those guys, and what a team they were. Eventually went on to win the Mem Cup. Was it in Rimouski, I want to say?
No, it was in London. I was there for that. Yeah.
Is that where they won?
Yeah, London, yeah.
And who'd they beat? Guelph?
Was it Guelph? I think it was, actually.
We could probably find out.
Yeah.
But it was the teams they built, and it's just that cycle of junior hockey, right? Where you go all in, and we've seen it the last few years, teams making these massive swings, trading away essentially their next 3 years to try to get that next piece. And I love it. I think it feels like it's one of the harder trophies to win, the Memorial Cup. You win your league, and then you, for some teams, fly across the country to play all the other best teams in the nation. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, it was, when I think back to that run, and like you said, some of the players there, Lazar, Samuelson, Jari. Kolda had what was it? He I think he did something after he scored. He was kind of like a cult hero kind of.
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. But they had a lot of, Bob Green did a super job on, and Randy Hatch, both did a super job of bringing in and identifying a lot of talent, and they were a fun team. I mean,
Dyson Mayo on the back
end there. It was just, it was a great experience for me because, like I said, they just, they're under the Oilers umbrella, right? And so there's lots of opportunity to learn. I had a great time spending a lot of it with Derek Laxdal.
Yeah.
And just what a great coach, and just how detailed he was. And especially for me coming out of hockey, I remember one time it was funny. He asked me to run a practice and do a drill. And you would think with how long I played hockey, I could think of a drill.
Yeah.
And this was before I was doing all my hockey school stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can do a drill. And gives me the marker, and I go up there to the board that's stuck on the glass, and I'm like going through the Rolodex. I'm like, oh my God, I can't think of a drill. And I come up with one, and I'm explaining this drill, and I'm looking at the board. So I can see the drill.
Yeah.
Not realizing these kids are behind me and are looking at my back. And I look back, and I just remember thinking and looking at them, and they're wide-eyed. They were like horses. They wanted to go.
Yeah.
Right. They're just ready to practice. They're ready to get going. And here I am with my chicken scratch, with my back to them. And I'm like, they can't even see the drill. I better start, and that's when I better start getting my own database of drills and paying attention to what's going on here. So
yeah.
Thankful for a lot of the opportunities that I got there, and definitely learned a lot with a lot of good people.
Well, 7:00, Rogers Place taking on the Blades. Game 7. Tickets at oilkings.ca. There's a big gold bar along the top. You click that. And then they also have the kids' meals that you can, you don't have to be a kid to grab.
Oh, there's nothing better. I mean, there's obviously the Oilers games are the Oilers games, and they're amazing, right? But when you have a young family and you're able to get, an opportunity to go into an NHL arena, Rogers Place, and just enjoy that atmosphere, and go in there, and it's just a little less, a little bit more understanding of the fact that everyone has kids.
Yeah.
Right. And they're loud, and they're going to maybe bang into the back of your seat and do some things that maybe at an NHL game that most fans won't do. It's electric. I mean, I don't think there's a better spot, and a better organization that does it right, and with the number, I know Kevin's on top of the giveaways. They have all these special nights and theme nights, wrestling night, and
we've got a chance to present a couple of those for Sports 1440. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Eddie
So
Thiel and Kruger, or not Kruger, Kevin getting in on it.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Because I met, I know, what's his name, Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer's the guy that kind of, I don't know what his company's called.
Love Wrestling. Love
Oh, is
Pro
that
Wrestling.
okay?
Yeah.
So I know his dad. I know his dad, and I ran into Spencer in Sherwood Park at Boston Pizza, and so he does a lot of his shows down at the rec room, and so we were chatting about some things, and the wrestling obviously came up, and so I got some tickets for, I don't know, I think it's a month from now. Maybe it's he's got one show left or something like that. So
Nice.
I'm going to go. It's something different, right? Like a lot
yeah.
of times you meet friends at different restaurants, have a couple drinks, or you have them over at your house. And I was like, you know what? Like, my wife doesn't know it, but we're going to go there with a few couples and check it out. I'm sure it's going to be fun.
They put on a show. We were sitting right by the ring last year, 2 years ago, and they're heckling the crowd. The crowd's getting back into it. Like it's just like the minor pro wrestling. It's awesome. So that'll be
what type of crowd is it?
You get wrestling fans, and probably a few people like you guys just gonna go check it out. I think you just got to get into it. Go for a drink or two beforehand, and let's get into it with some of the wrestlers, the heels, right? The bad guys. So
I mean, who didn't watch? I mean, I don't know how you were, but I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. So it's funny, when I was watching it as a kid, my dad didn't like us watching TV, and so he was always all over. Get outside, go play. Don't be sitting inside and wrestling's fake, and totally down on wrestling. Well, we all move out. Well, who gets in the wrestling? My dad is like a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And I'm not into the new wrestling now. I don't even know what it's like necessarily, but I like the old school, the old school guys. Actually, I seen a tweet. I don't know if it's true or not, but it looks like Netflix is coming out with, they had a trailer of Hulk Hogan.
Oh, really?
And so I think there's a documentary and that'll be next level good.
The most influential time in my life, I don't know how old I was, but I would watch the Monday Night Wars, Raw's War, Attitude Era versus WCW, and they had Hulk Hogan go over and become Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and start the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Yeah, they were the best. Scott Hall and Hogan are
Yeah.
just, their personalities are unbelievable.
peak wrestling. If you missed
Yeah.
it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But to me, that was just the best time.
Yeah.
1-833-401-1440. That is the text line if you'd like to get in on the conversation. Connor Halley, Sean Brown sitting in for Jason Gregor. He'll be back on Wednesday. Jays in action tonight, taking on the Dodgers. Should be a fun game. You got Mad Max going to the mound for the Blue Jays. First pitch, 5:07. We'll join that game in progress here on Sports 1440 on the AM feed. You've also got the National Championship in basketball. UConn, Michigan. Did you do a bracket?
No, I didn't. I know you guys always everyone sends out a bracket.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. I didn't do it. I thought about it.
Well,
are you in it? Are you in it?
Oh no, my bracket was busted. I took Duke. I don't even like Duke. Like they're unlikable to me. But I just, I listen to the guys who know basketball.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not a bad pick. It was a bad pick,
but
evidently.
It seems like but Duke. There's certain names that are just always there.
The blue blood program.
Yeah, right.
Well, Michigan's there. UConn tonight.
Yeah,
I like UConn, but I think our Play Alberta picks I took. Actually, no, I listened to Declan and I took UConn to cover the spread, 6.5 points.
Okay.
So head over to playalberta.ca.
So who's in the lead and who's like out of this group here?
Northside Adam, I believe. I didn't set up the bracket, so I don't know for sure. If Michigan wins, I think he wins. And then there's two people who will tie for first if it goes the other route.
Okay.
And then they'll split the cash. So I think it's $200 to the winner, and we did $200 to the Ben Stelter Foundation. So,
nice.
Yeah. Kind of mixed that in here. Also, sadder note, it is the anniversary of the Humboldt Broncos crash. 2018. Like, I'll never forget where I was personally. I was sitting at home, on my bed and just saw social media, these tweets popping up like incident in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
We lost 16 lives. Other 13 players, coaching staff hurt in the crash. You've been on the bus. Your son's been on the bus. What do you remember about that event? And just kind of, as tough as it was, the hockey world really came together.
Yeah, that is obviously probably one of the biggest events that affected all of us, and something that we're all gonna remember.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with my relationship and with Chris Joseph and the alumni and him being a hockey player and getting to know him, it's obviously it's really sad, right? And like you said, I've been on a lot of buses and my son's on a bus, and I never really, to be honest with you, gave it a whole lot of thought about being on a bus and putting your safety in someone else's hands. Just never crossed my mind. I always felt safe, and to be honest with you, I still feel safe, but it is in the back of your mind. I think a lot of guys, when they play, there's always like a kind of a setup, right? There's only so many seats, and certain guys are doubled up, and so there's a lot of guys that will find space on the ground, either between seats or down the aisle. And it definitely, when you hear those rumble strips, of a bus just kind of veering off for whatever reason, right? It goes through your head. You're kind of like, holy gee, what's going on there? You have a little bit of a peek.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, Chris Joseph lately is actually, I've seen on YouTube there a few different clips of him talking about some recent interviews about how things are going and the progress and the changes that are being made in transportation. And it's just I listen to it, and it's just to hear it from his perspective, and it just really makes you think about your kids and how lucky we are and kind of what he's going through. And none of us will ever understand that, but the positive change that he's trying to make because of it, I just have a lot of respect for him and his wife, just not only because of what they went through, but just how they look at life and how they conduct themselves. So it's something that we obviously should never forget it. No one will. And sad time.
Yeah. And I mean, you talk about with the Josephs, but a lot of the players, the survivors, have done such great things just to honor those that were lost and the things that they've accomplished. So just wanted to mention that because obviously one of the darkest days in Canadian sports history. We'll take a break here. Still to come on the show, we've got Cam Tate, we've got Speck, Kevin Willey, Eduardo Encina from the Tampa Bay Times will join us, talk some Lightning, Matt Barrett as well. But coming up next, we'll get to Zach Lang of Oilers Nation, talk some Oilers, some Jays, a little bit more. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Oiler fans, season seats have never been easier. Sign up for first access to full, half, and quarter seats starting at only $28 per week by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$14.40 streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. You can head over and grab your Lotto Max ticket for tomorrow night. An estimated $75 million plus 12 max millions. You also got the Lotto 649 gold ball jackpot at $24 million. And today, the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day. Playalberta.ca. Check out some of our specials. The Jason Gregor specials should be up. We've got 3 today. We've got 1 involving the national championship, Yukon to cover the spread, plus Wembanyama, 3.5 blocks. We're taking the over. We want a big performance from Wemby. Over in hockey as well. A couple games going on. We'll get to that later on, but check it out, playalberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley here, Sean Brown, Declan Kruger, and Mackenzie, the intern, as well. You ever get on the Play Alberta, Brownie?
I was just thinking of that when you said that.
I'll give you a code word or something.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't really gamble, to be honest with you. Back in junior, what was it? Pro Select?
Yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Is that still going?
That's around. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I used to like that. Not that I played that a lot, but I like the fact that basically for someone that had no money, a $2, you can make a $2 bet,
yeah.
right? And you could, so I always found it interesting. You got that much more involved when you can make a bet and have something on the line and, make some ridiculous
15 game.
Yeah, and there's a hope there. So, but yeah, I've never, like, my wife and I, our favorite place to go to is Vegas, and we don't gamble a lot. Like, we just enjoy nice food and, the exercise, walking around, watching people, shows. The odd time we do gamble, but I feel like, it's not, I wouldn't bet enough to make it. It's not going to make a difference either way. Like, I'm not looking to make, to change my life or make me, it does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Like, zero. Like, my son is into it seems like all kids, especially these, his hockey buddies and stuff like that, are into all these parlays, and they're definitely into it. And, I try to make sure he understands, like, hey, this is like a slippery slope. Like, yo, Dad, I got it all figured out. It's like, yeah, well, everyone does until they don't.
Got to use your game sense.
There you go. So, but it is a way that kids now kind of interact, and, something for them to kind of talk about. But it's, like I said, I'm not, I know they're a sponsor of the show, but I'm not a fan of it.
Well, we'll get you a code word maybe.
Oh, okay.
And there's always the things you can limit to how much you put in and all that sort of thing. Do so responsibly, of course.
Yeah. What about yourself? You're obviously into it.
Me and my buddies do it for during NFL season.
Yeah.
That's where we put in money for, we'll pick like 3 players to score a touchdown, things like that.
Yeah.
Just in case it happens, have some fun with it that way.
I like the fact that it doesn't have to be a lot, right? And it does, like, I think it does add some, banter, and it's something to talk about with your friends, and something to look forward to. So there are some benefits to it. I'm not against it, and probably if I knew a little bit more and paid a little bit more attention, I probably wouldn't be the worst thing to do.
Well, right now we will get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 15,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 new vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca. We bring in Zach Lang of Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Zach, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Hey, good day, gentlemen. I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, really appreciate it. And let's talk some Edmonton Oilers right now, because right now that Pacific Division, it's unbelievable. And you could probably make that discussion about almost every division in the NHL. Central, maybe not so much, but 2 and 3, the battle's great. Oilers right now sitting atop the Pacific with 87 points, tied for the Ducks. The Golden Knights 1 point back after their win on Saturday. Did you see this coming in the Pacific Division, or did you think we'd have a team kind of running away with it at this point?
Oh man, that's a good question. I definitely didn't see it from the Edmonton Oilers. Admittedly, this winning streak that they had, the 5-gamer, did them very well in terms of getting near the top of the division. Obviously, it's very tight. I don't think anybody envisioned the Ducks to have as good of a year as they've had this season. And in the same breath, I don't think anybody envisioned Vegas to be as poor as they've been, although the coaching bump has certainly done them some favors here for sure. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. And of course, for the Edmonton Oilers, they're going to have to make this final push here without Zach Hyman for at least 3 of the final 5 regular season games. They'll be without Draisaitl until, at least game 1 of the playoffs, if not potentially later. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting stretch run here for these couple of teams.
One of the guys who has stepped up with the opportunity has been Matthew Savoy, and I tweeted out, he just gets it. Like, he knows what he has to do. And it's well documented that he went down to Bakersfield, worked on his defensive game, got a part of the penalty kill. The thing that stood out to me was after the Oilers' goal on Saturday when Erasmus Anderson was going at McDavid. No hesitation, just grabs him. And, he's not the biggest guy. That's not his style, but he understands you don't let a guy take not even a run. They don't even let him go near your captain. You just grab him. What have you thought of Savoy and what he's done this year?
Yeah, I've been massively impressed. I liked the trade at the time, moving, Ryan McLeod for Savoy. And I was a huge, and still am a huge fan of Ryan McLeod, right? Especially the speed that he brings. It was just such a dynamic look for that bottom 6, because he was one of those guys who kind of, maybe he's not quite McDavid fast, but he's right up there. He was a quick player. But, Matt Savoy has really grown into his own here. And I think there's a lot of credit due, obviously to the player for seizing the moment here, getting these top 6 minutes, but to the team as well. I mean, they really took the slow approach with Savoy. He spent the overwhelming majority of last season in the American Hockey League. And even with this season here, I mean, it's not like they put him in a position right away where it's like, hey, you're a top 6 player. No, they said, hey, listen, you're going to start in the bottom 6 to start the season, and you're going to have to work your way up the lineup. And every step of the way, it's felt like he's had success. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the big point totals or anything like that this season, but you could see his game really start to mature playing in that bottom 6 earlier this year. And now, obviously, a player with a lot of offensive potential. He's put up points, throughout his career prior to the NHL. And here he is now, getting a great opportunity to play on that top line. And he looks like he's going to be sticking up there. He's looked really, really good playing up on that top line with Connor McDavid. So, and I think it's kind of interesting too, when you think back to 2-3 years ago, right? Like when Knobloch kind of took over in that his first season, Knoblauch's as well as the second, he didn't really play with a lot of the young guys. We all know what happened with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg and their limited ice time. And then, going off to the St. Louis Blues now. So a lot of credit to a lot of people here, I think, for Savoy's development.
So sticking with Savoy, obviously, I love his development too, the way they've kind of worked with him in the minors, and he's worked his way up different spots in the lineup. Like, where do you, he's going to be up for contract. Where do you, how do you see this kind of playing out? Or is this playoff opportunity for him a great chance to see how he does, against, in a playoff situation against some, obviously, if he's going to be playing on some of the top lines, he's going to be playing against some of the bigger, heavier defensemen. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, great question there too. It's going to be a really interesting situation, right? I think, they're probably going to wait and see what he can do in the playoffs here, but we all know how different of a game it is, right? And I think we're even seeing, towards the end of this regular season here, like you look at that Vegas game, is a little chippier, a little bit more physical. These final games for the Edmonton Oilers are all going to be that way. So it'll be a nice little warm up for him before the big minutes in the playoffs arrive. I think, there's a couple of ways you can go with the contract. From an Oilers perspective, I'm sure they'd love to try and sign him to a long-term, lower dollar amount contract. But in the same breath, if you're Savoy in his camp, with him playing up on the top line with Connor McDavid, it would make all the sense in the world to do a shorter-term deal, 2-3 years maybe, and then try and cash in on a big one next time around. So there'll be a couple of options for sure, but he's going to be getting a good pay raise. Especially with the way the salary cap is trending upwards, I could see him being a guy on this next deal, a 2-3 year deal in that $4 million range pretty easily, because he's already finding ways to contribute offensively here in those minutes in the top 6. And I think he's only going to be getting better as somebody who's still only 21, 22 years old.
Zach Lang of Oilers Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Sean Brown sitting in. Zach, the trade deadline, the acquisitions they made, maybe not the sexiest picks at the time, but we've already seen how well they played out. Dickinson looks like a force defensively, obviously, very responsible. And on the back end, you got Murphy playing there with Nurse. What have you thought of that duo, and what do you think of them in the playoffs, as Brownie alluded to? Like, you're going to get the heavier matchup. It's going to be tougher hockey. You think they can hold up?
Yeah, it's going to be a great test for them, to say the very least here. I've loved the pickups. I mean, Jason Dickinson has been tremendous up front for the Edmonton Oilers, something that this team has really needed, right? When was the last time they really had a true defensive sicko like him, right? Like, there was that one game, I think it was against the Ducks a couple of weeks ago, where he was on the ice for 2 goals against, and he was literally, like, after the game, very upset about the fact that he was on the ice for 2 goals against. He was like, yeah, this is going to haunt me for a little while. I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. Like, we need more of that from Edmonton Oilers players, right? So really liked him. Connor Murphy, been impressed with him too. Big, strong, stay-at-home, shutdown defenseman, physical presence out there. As we've seen, not afraid to shed the mitts at any point in time either. I think I like the Darnell Nurse, Connor Murphy pairing maybe a little bit more in theory than we're really seeing. Like, we're seeing some good things from them for sure, but they're still, if you start to dig into the numbers a little bit, they've been outscored, they're getting outchanced still together on the ice. My one concern there is, like, it's just, Nurse has really struggled moving the puck over the last couple of years here. It's kind of been a real weak point for him. So in the same breath, they do kind of seem married to this setup that they have now, which I can't necessarily argue with. Ekholm Bouchard, obviously they're great together. Wallman and Emberson, I think, have worked well together as well. But, I almost wonder if they maybe consider flip-flopping Wallman and Nurse there a little bit too. I think that could provide a good look for that second pairing as well, just given, Wallman's skating ability and the offensive upside that he has. I think for Wallman as well, like, it's kind of felt like his game has settled down here over this last little stretch, right? Coming out of the Olympics and the trade deadline, those were some pretty rough days and pretty rough games for him. So it's been a good sign to see him settling down, but, we'll see what we get out of this Nurse Murphy pairing here down the stretch and into the playoffs. But I do think that they have worked well together.
From a coach's point of view, you'd like to have a healthy team, especially some of the guys, the big guys that are out for the Oilers playing, just so that you can kind of build and fine tune as you get into playoffs. Any concerns with guys, Hyman, Draisaitl not being in the lineup coming down the stretch?
Oh, certainly. I mean, it feels like we had this exact same conversation last year when Draisaitl and McDavid missed time down the stretch run of the season and into the playoffs. Didn't really hamper them a whole lot. The Oilers still had success, got to the Cup final again, right? Like, those were good signs there, but I do have some concerns for sure. Especially, hearing now that Draisaitl is like a maybe for game 1 of the playoffs, that definitely kind of piques my ears a little bit here. And I think, once we get a week from now, if Draisaitl isn't skating, then I'm going to really start to get concerned. The Hyman thing is kind of interesting because, Noblaw has such a way with words and injuries and talking about all of this kind of stuff, right? Because it didn't seem like it was going to be anything serious for Hyman. He was a game time decision for the Chicago game. And then all of a sudden he's out for the Vegas game. And before the game, Noblaw is kind of saying, oh yeah, if it's a playoff game, he'd be in the lineup sort of a thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, he's going to be out for 3 games. So, something's clearly bothering him, whatever that may be. And the hope is that it isn't anything too serious that can kind of hamper him heading into the playoffs, because the Oilers are going to need him, at his best. And it's been a great season for Zach Hyman, right? I think he's only 55 games he's played this year. He's got like 31 goals, 50 few points as well. He's been really productive. Despite the limited playing time, coming back from the wrist injury, missed the first 19 games of the year. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I think there's, definitely some cause for concern.
But on the flip side, it's been a great opportunity for Szymanski. Hopefully, I'm assuming Doc will get in there. Lazar, Frederick, Roslovic's just kind of proved himself throughout the season. but it's a benefit for those guys, just to be playing, at this time of the year and these type of games. It can only help them moving forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Josh Szymanski, like nobody saw this coming from him, right? Like when the Oilers signed him last year, it was like, oh, okay, you take a flyer on the guy and, starts the year in the American League and see where it goes from there. But, he's been a great piece of this Oilers bottom six here. My hot take is kind of that, he's going to be starting in the playoffs, or whenever the Oilers have a fully healthy roster, he'll be starting in the playoffs over Adam Henrique. That's kind of the way that I could see this kind of shaking down because, Szymanski's got the foot speed. He's such a cerebral and smart player, especially defensively. And that's something that the Oilers really kind of need down there in that mix. So, yeah, it's been great to see guys like him seizing the moment. Trent Frederick, his game has really stepped up since the Olympic break, which was great to see. Obviously, unfortunate that he got a little bit banged up there, and hopefully he can kind of get back to his game. Obviously got in the mix, the Vegas guys quite a bit towards the end of that game on Saturday night there. And, Colton Dach too. Like, I think he had a couple of solid games too before he kind of got injured, was definitely showing that he's a physical presence out there. So, and that doesn't even, mention a guy like Max Jones. I mean, for an AHLer who's kind of just been a call up, he's kind of, making it difficult to take him out of the lineup as well. So good problems to have with all of these guys stepping up for the Oilers.
Well, Zach, thanks so much for doing this today. We appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. Zach Lang of Oilers Nation. That is the Oil Report. And I mean, he talks about all those injuries, and you talked about it as well. And it's too bad because they're right in the hunt for the division title. Like at the start of the year, I said, I want to see them win a division title. Like, I don't want this ramping up at the right time. Set the standard, win games. It's not what I would have thought, but it's right there. And you've got all these injuries. It'll be the first one in Declan's lifetime, Mackenzie's lifetime. They won in 87, so I was like 4 months old. Like, all these people for the first time, it would have been their first chance to see the Oilers win the Pacific.
Yeah. How exciting would that be? I mean, this has been a year that it's probably been unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Especially coming off of the last 2 years and the expectations. But having said that too, they've played a lot of hockey, right? It's,
schedule.
I don't think any of us know the toll that it actually takes on your body, plus mentally. So I think although that is important, there's a lot of other things and battles that are more important right now. It's an interesting team. It's been an interesting year. I'm excited. I mean, he touched on Dach a little bit and Szymanski maybe being someone that could potentially pushing out a veteran. I think I like the upside on Dach, and I'm surprised that Chicago, being a team that, has a potential superstar in Bedard, and needing young pieces to complement him and where they're at as an organization, that I'm surprised that they gave up on Dach. I like him. I think he's big. He's physical. He's got very good skill. And he's a guy that in the playoffs here, that young, enthusiastic energy that he's going to be able to bring with that size, I think he could be a handful. And along with Szymanski, could be another guy that could be a real pleasant surprise.
Yeah. And you invested a second-round pick in him 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm intrigued to see. And, he home area kid, not necessarily Edmonton, but what, Sherwood Park?
Yeah. No, Fort Saskatchewan.
Fort Saskatchewan. Okay. Yeah. Like knows what it means here, knows what it's going to be like. So it's going to be fun. Now we'll take a break as we kind of look ahead at the playoffs. We'll talk some playoffs coming up next. Game 7, in fact, as Matt Barrett will join us, the voice of the Edmonton Oil Kings. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today. You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Spruce Grove Saints have clinched their spot in the Rogers BCHL Cup playoffs. Catch all the first-round action at the Thompson Family Arena, one of the most exciting junior hockey atmospheres around. Feel the energy, hear the crowd, and be part of the playoff push as the Saints battle for the cup. For tickets or information, follow the Spruce Grove Saints on social media or visit sgsaints.ca. The Spruce Grove Saints are playoff bound. Don't miss your chance to be there. It's go time. Go Saints go.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Tomorrow and Wednesday is the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Listen for stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You'll also hear from members of the Stars team. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Connor Halley, Sean Brown, got Declan Kruger and intern Mackenzie with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. The text line 1-833-441-1440, or head to the chats in YouTube, Sports 1440 AM or Oilers Nation. We've got two feeds there. Chat's always a good time in there. Good discussion, so go check it out. Lots to get to still on this show today. Eduardo Encina is going to join us from the Tampa Bay Times. Look at the Lightning as they take on the Sabres tonight. Well, it should be a very good game. You got Kevin Woodley, Speck, Cam Tate. We'll do 5 questions and more. But right now, we'll go in the room. We're going to talk some Edmonton Oil Kings. This is brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We bring in Matt Barrett, voice of the Oil Kings. Matt, good afternoon. How's it going today? How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm nervous, but excited. It's the best 2 words in sports, right, boys? It's doesn't get much better than this.
Now we're gonna get to the game and what happened last night, but we were talking about you on Fantasy Frenzy today, and what is your
really?
last? Well, what is the last 18 hours, whatever it has been like for you? Because I think the game ended 6 o'clock Mountain Time ish.
Yeah.
They're playing a game in 25 hours after the fact. It's a 5-ish hour bus drive. Like, were you guys 45 minutes from the buzzer to the bus, or how did that all work out?
Pretty close. I think we ripped back to Edmonton pretty quickly. It was, it's chaos, but both teams have to do it, right? It's been even just the last 10 days of this series have been, this series has seen it all, the travel, the back and forth. It's just, you couldn't ask for anything more out of this series if you're a fan of hockey and just, everything involved in sports. It's been pretty special to see this series, how it's played out.
What was the mindset going into the game? Because, you hear it in the past. It's, hey, we're going home anyways. Might as well bring them with us. So the boys had to be pretty fired up for this one, I assume.
Yeah, they knew they had to. And Gavin Hodnett said it after game 5. He's like, we will win game 6. We're going to be back here. And they showed it. They dominated the third period for sure. And they obviously gave up the goal with 7 seconds left, but they had chances to ice that game they outshot them 10-3 in the final frame. Like, Evan Gardner was tremendous for Saskatoon. So the Oil Kings kind of came out and played pretty close to the game they want to play. And they showed it. It was a game where they were like, we are not going back home without you guys. You guys are coming with us, and we're going to play one more.
Matt, the games are obviously close and the margin for error is so small. Isn't that, something that we all like about junior hockey? For as good as these kids are, right? There's that mistake that could happen.
Oh, exactly, right. And there were a few of them in that game on both sides where it could have completely turned the tides, which is just what makes it so amazing. I think, junior hockey playoffs are just some of the best because, you get one little mistake. I don't know if you guys saw it in the Regina Medicine Hat series. A puck goes off a stanchion behind the net, squirts out in front, team ties the game in the final few minutes. Like, it's that type of stuff that what makes junior hockey in the WHL so special. And this series has been no different. I think we've got 4 games decided by 1 goal so far. So I would expect, a lot of the same.
So I was talking about it early. Just I spent a little bit of time with the Oil Kings, and it's just an organization that, if your kid is lucky enough to get to that level, what they have access to is it's amazing. And it's not the same across the board for every team, but can you maybe, you're living it. Can you maybe talk about, the organization and what these kids have access to and how well run it is?
Yeah. You got to treat your players, in a high standard, and the Oil Kings do that. It's kind of one of those things that we kind of hold ourselves to, an NHL standard because we are owned by an NHL team, right? And it's one of those things where we got to treat your players the right way, because then they're going to treat you the same way coming back, right? If you treat them well, they're going to treat you well, and build good relationships that way. It's pretty amazing. And you look at the staff, obviously, in Jason Smith and Kyle Chipchura, guys who have hundreds and hundreds of games of NHL experience, bunch of WHL experience, and Devin Prott's been around for a long time, coaching in high pressure situations and in different areas. So it's a pretty special staff, and you got to give a shout out to Rogan Dean and Adrian Prisnella, who keep the boys in tip top shape and keep them ready to go. So from top to bottom, and Kurt Hill all the way down to even strength and conditioning coaches and whatnot, it's a pretty high end group, and we're all pretty lucky to be around them every day.
So is there a player in this playoff run on the Oil Kings that maybe has surprised you a little bit as far as maybe elevating their game?
I don't know if surprised, but a couple guys like Caden Strader, the 16-year-old out of Saskatchewan, out of Lanigan. He's the lone Saskatchewan boy on the roster, and he proved he wanted to beat his hometown team. And he's got 5 points in 6 games so far. And as a 16-year-old, you maybe don't expect a kid of that youth to, perform the way he has, but he's a gamer and doesn't look phased whatsoever. It's been pretty awesome to see him kind of play the way he has and kind of have his welcome to the WHL in the playoffs here. He played in Game 7 last year, so he knows what it takes. And, you hope he's in the lineup again tonight, after missing Game 6. So he's been electric. And Aaron Obobifo, he's played only 3 games. He scored 2 goals, but he is a burner out there. He's got a ton of speed. He can shoot the puck. He's moved over to center and wins well over 50% of his faceoffs. He's been tremendous when he plays, and can really switch a game. If the Oil Kings need a bit of a spark, he's out there and he's able to do it.
I think we do have to ask about Miroslav Holenka. Obviously,
Yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs fans got to be very excited this year in the regular season. 59 games played, 37 goals. The winner last night, he's been scoring at a ridiculous pace, 7 goals in just the 6 games. How good has he been? And I mean, we can pump the tires of his line mates too, I think, with this one.
Yeah, him and Lucas Sauchin as a duo have been just stupid good. It's unbelievable how dominant they've been, especially over the last 5 games of the series. They were both held pointless in game 1. And then from this point on, they've been unbelievable. And Miro just has this, I guess, kind of ice in his veins at the moment. He just doesn't seem phased. He scores big goals. He had a hat trick in a huge game on the road, scored the OT winner. It just kind of is all over the place. He has this calm about him right now. Him and Lucas Sauchin do whatever they want with the puck, it feels like. And yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs fans, be excited about him because I think he's going to be a really good player and can play, in a number of different spots. He's been everything that you could ask for and more for the Oil Kings in this first 6 games of the playoffs.
Matt Barrett, voice of the Oil Kings, joining us. Matt, just quickly, was there any update on Blake Fiddler?
Yeah, he hasn't played the last few games, so it's tough when he's not in the lineup. They've had to cover some minutes, and they've done a pretty good job of it. And Reese Peterson filling in, and Austin Zemlak played a ton in the overtime games. So no update yet, but they've been able to fill his void to an extent at this point. But it's obviously tough when you're missing a guy of his caliber.
So I know Kevin Radomski answered the back call of me asking for tickets. I appreciate that, Kevin, if you're still listening. But what type of crowd? What are we expecting? I mean, this is game 7. This is exciting. What are you expecting in the building?
Yeah, hopefully a good crowd and not just, a lot of people, but loud. Like I am challenging Oil Kings fans, if you're listening right now, if you are kind of like, oh, do I want to go to the game? Go to the game. Buy your tickets and go to the game because this is going to be a lot of fun. You don't get to see many game 7s very often. And to experience this one is going to be a lot of fun, loud, get butts in seats and let's have some fun because this is going to be, an awesome experience for everybody in attendance. And, hopefully we get a good crowd in that bowl there at Rogers Place.
Now, between the pipes tonight, we're going back with Parker Snell, you think?
I don't see how you can't. I mean, the way he's played in his 3 games, and he showed up yesterday after missing the previous 3. He backed up in game 5. But, after Ethan Simcoe played the last 3, he kind of came back and was like, okay, I'm back. This is my net. Let's go. And in the overtime, he made a few 10-bell saves that kept the season alive and was the first star of the game. NHL teams, if you're watching this series or listening or anything, keep an eye on Parker Snell. This guy's unbelievable. But I do think you could theoretically go to Ethan Simcoe if you wanted to, because he played in game 7 last year and both have been really good. So it's anybody's guess, but if I had to put money on it, it's probably Parker Snell for my bet.
So Matt, obviously it's about the players, but this game 7's a big deal for you too. Like, how do you prepare for this? This has got to be exciting. Is this your first game 7?
So we had game 7 last year against Prince Albert in PA. So that was my first WHL game 7. Prior to that, I had a couple in junior A that I called, including an SJHL final, which was electric. So I mean, it's a lot of nerves, like a lot of nervous energy. And you just kind of sit around and you're just kind of like itching to get the game. Like we're 3 hours or 4 hours from puck drop right now. And I'm just kind of like jittery. I'm probably going to need a coffee, which probably doesn't help, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know what to do sometimes. It's so much fun. I love calling games. And like during the double overtime, I'm like standing on my chair. I'm like, I can't stand still. It's like, the heart rate's going through the roof. And I'm sure my Apple Watch is going to yell at me at some point here. So
Matt, like, how did you get into this? Did you play hockey? Like at one where you're like, hey man, I want to get into radio, and it's not, I've done it before. It is not easy to do. Right. And I guess the second question is like, where do you go with this? How far do you want to go?
Well, yeah, I mean, I played back in the day, but not to the level of, being a good hockey player. I was average at best, and played basketball actually at a higher level. So that was kind of my sport, and realized very quickly that I needed to do something with my life. And I was like, you know what, I want to talk about sports. And I realized that in about grade 11, and, ended up going to Mount Royal for university and lucked my way into calling hockey games for the Mount Royal Cougars men's and women's teams for 2 years, and fell in love with doing the play-by-play thing. and then all of a sudden got a job in Saskatchewan and, kept doing play-by-play, and here we are today. So I want to take it as far as I can and, hopefully be, in the NHL one day and continue chasing the dream. So it's been a wild ride.
So do you reach out to a local guy like Jack Michaels and kind of pick his brain on some things he's done to get to that point?
Yeah. I mean, like Jack's been great in kind of like listening and being an ear for me. But I think the biggest one is Cam Moon actually has been an unbelievable mentor to me. I reached out to him when I was early in my career in Melfort, and he has been just amazing with me, being just a good friend to help me along the line and helped me get my first job in Swift Current, and I think helped get the job here as well. So, guys like that are tremendous for me. I feel so lucky that I can call them a mentor and a friend, and they've been great to help me to get to where I am today.
Cool story.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Matt, we'll be listening tonight. Thanks so much for doing this. And I don't know, get a nap, get a coffee, a lozenge, whatever it takes.
Yeah, might need all of those. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
There you go. That's Matt Barrett, the voice of the Oil Kings. And Game 7 down at Rogers Place. If you want to go, oilkings.ca. Tickets, just $20 to get in. I mean, you're not going to beat that. Then you go get a kid's meal. You don't have to be a kid. You just go get the kid's meal. And I think they have Dr. Pepper on tap, which for me, Brown, is a turning point. You give me the Dr. Pepper, I'm all in. But it's going to be an awesome one, Oil Kings and Blades. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to your text, 1-833-401-1440. But first, a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Visit mortgagestogo.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
News from around the sporting world, as the University of North Carolina is set to name former NBA Coach of the Year Mike Malone as their head coach. Dexter Lawrence of the New York Giants has requested a trade, and Angel Reese has been traded to the Atlanta Dream for 2 first-round picks. NHL action gets going at 5 o'clock today with Tampa and Buffalo. Late game sees LA and Nashville out in Los Angeles. NBA action at 5 o'clock for Detroit and Orlando, and New York and Atlanta, Portland and Denver, the late game in the league at 7. Toronto Blue Jays will be in action at 5:07, playing host to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You can hear that one here on Sports 1440 on the AM feed, and it will be Max Scherzer on the bump. Men's national championship today in the NCAA college basketball world. UConn and Michigan with a 6:50 tip from Lucas Oil Stadium, and Game 7 for the Edmonton Oil Kings as they play host to the Saskatoon Blades down at Rogers. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Room 97.3, Sunday Soundtracks.
Dirty Dancing.
Action. Head up. Lucky Frank. Lucky. Look, spaghetti arms.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their special line of blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Kind of screwed you there. Nice day. They had a nice kitchen back then. Maybe got breakfast. Just after 3 o'clock, thank you for joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max, estimated $75 million. The rookie Evan Bouchard of lotteries. Also, 12 max millions. You've also got the Lotto 649 Gold Ball Jackpot worth $24 million. And today, the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day, Brownie. Could you imagine?
That'd be a nice treat, wouldn't it?
I don't even know what I would do. I would buy so many stupid things.
You know what I would do? I would get a professional massage. Probably, I don't know if it'd be morning or night.
Maybe both. Why not?
There you go.
The first thing I would buy would be, I've got my eye on an ice maker. Just makes pebble ice.
Okay.
I just have to sell my cell phone, my old phone.
Yeah.
I've had like 2 sales fall through. That's as soon as I get that cash, I'm placing my order on Amazon.
For an ice, small,
little ice, little pebble ice.
Well, doesn't most fridges come with that where you can get the crush?
It's like the big chunks of ice with our fridge.
Yeah, you can't get the shaved. Like there's another button.
Well, I don't want shaved. I want pebble.
You
know, you get pebbled ice. It's the best ice. So I'm like, why not? I'm at a point in my life where I can afford it. If I sell my phone.
It's funny that I don't like ice just because my teeth I find are sensitive. So something cold takes me too long to get it down. So I like
to get a
warm
straw
water.
in there.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you do warm water?
I like warm water with a lemon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
1-833-401-1440. That is the text line if you want to get in on the chat. That's where you can reach us. You could also go to YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. I got Dean and a few others in there. You can get in on the chat with Mackenzie as well. She's in there. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Right now, we'll get to our stat of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. Founded in 2009, they specialize in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, and street lighting, shaping and building Edmonton communities. All Star Construction. And Brownie, I was just kind of scrolling through these statistics here, and the Edmonton Oilers this year, one of 2 teams that have not won a shootout. There's only 2 teams.
Yeah, wow, surprising.
The other team is Utah, who has not been to a shootout. So the Edmonton Oilers this year, 0-3. Oh, I just wanted to dig into it with this group of Oilers. Like, what is their record going back? Last year, they only went to one shootout and lost. In 2023, 2024, they went to 3 shutouts. Their record was 2-1. So their last shootout win was December 30th, 2023 against the Kings. They won 3-2. The year before that, we're going all the way back. They went 0-4 in shootouts. Only Seattle had a worse record, which was tied. The year before that, though, 5-1. Don't know what happened that year. They kind of had a trio of goalies, though. That was Smith, Koskinen, and Stuart Skinner getting into it.
Yep.
The year before that, in just the 56 games, no shootouts. So I know the Oilers with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, or Barry or Keith, whoever it would have been. Obviously, they won a lot of games in overtime. But, you just think about it, 7-10. And if you take away the 1 year where they went 5-1, for whatever reason, they haven't been the best shootout team, which a little bit surprising when you have the upper tier talent that they have.
Yeah, that is surprising, but it is not surprising in a way that to know that, anytime they got into overtime, it was pretty much a guaranteed win, right? I think shootouts are like, it's unique. It's a special, it's a very special skill.
Yeah.
And, at a time there, we had, what was that, Matt Hendricks?
Yeah.
Right. He had the mule kick
Mm.
kind of going down, and,
Yeah.
Good on him for, a tough guy, a team guy, to add another element to his game to make him more valuable and to keep him around. I mean, I think a lot of times, especially, in minor hockey, you look at, the end of practice, it's like, hey, let's do a shootout. And it's kind of a fun thing. And, not something necessarily that, you kind of, that's an opportunity to hone your skills in. That's almost, I would think, would be a drill in today's game, right? It's not like, hey, grab, a lot of times after practice, there was different games that we, play. One of them, what was it? A beer, a shot, a beer, and I forget. It was a beer and a shot, but it was basically a breakaway, a shot, and then a breakaway.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun, and there wasn't, a whole lot of thought in it for a lot of us. It was just kind of something, just to kind of laugh about. But it's an important part of the game. It's a big piece of the game, and you'd almost it'd be a benefit to have one of those guys that really kind of specializes. Who was the guy in Washington that he's still playing over in Russia that seems like he barely moves when he comes in? Like, he's got that unique.
Yeah, he kind of went viral for it recently.
Yeah,
right?
So it's a good skill to have in your goodie bag, because it does happen, and points are important, and could be the difference, between maybe you and another guy actually getting in the lineup.
Jurassic Park texting in says, "Oh yeah, the paralyzer." That's
what that was, the mule kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diesel Dave says Gags was legendary first year shootouts. Yeah, Sam Gagner was so good at the shootout. And you're right, like, because for the Oilers, McDavid tries, that'll lock it in.
Yeah.
Who's your third pick for you?
Oh,
is it Nuge? Because Evan Bouchard is climbing my list. Like, the way he's been able to kind of, and it's from distance, and there's probably traffic in front, but that wrist shot that he has, we talk about the Boosh Bum all the time, but his wrist shot is exceptional. So, like, to have him come in on a shootout, maybe it's not everyone's third pick, but to have a guy like that just let that rip, he's kind of climbing up my power rankings for the shootout.
I think, that would be the key, right? I think as a goalie, if you think he's got something, which he obviously does with his shot, and you could add something else. Now you obviously have the ability to throw him off, and so the more you can throw at someone and the more unpredictable you could be, obviously the more effective you're going to be. I'm just looking at the list right now. That's a tough one to sometimes, who I like? Roslovic. I think, he's just, it's such a skill. Like, I think you can teach defense, right? It's kind of a mindset, and I think you can really teach that, but scoring is, really unique, and some guys kind of, I think, have it, and others maybe not so much. And Roslovic, to me, some of the goals that he scores just reeks of a guy that just knows how to score.
Yeah.
Right. Can figure out a way and adjust. And I think, you can come down on a goalie and have somewhat of a plan, but ultimately, your ability to adjust to the situation and is probably going to make you, more effective. And he seems to be a guy that, if I'm looking at it, the obvious ones, as you said, Draisaitl and McDavid, I wouldn't have a problem going for Roslovic.
I like that one. I mean, Hyman and Podkolzin, and they've been scoring, but maybe not in that fashion. Hyman occasionally.
Hyman's the guy, anything
nice
2-3 feet away from the net, right? That's Hyman, right? He's going to be able to. He's a bigger body, going to be able to whack it in and redirect things, and obviously he has a skill set too. But I think if you were to look at both of them and the pure skill, I would probably go with Roslovic. He's probably been, he's been a guy for probably, obviously not being on the number one power play. He just, to me, seems like he's just such a low maintenance guy, right? You don't hear anything about him. I don't even know how much they interview the guy, right? I just don't hear him talk, but he just produces.
Yeah, and then he'll just occasionally pop off and you'd be like, whoa. That's not 97. That's Jack Ross. Like, would you bring him back? Would you look to extend him in the offseason?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, does he want to come back?
That's the question, isn't
right?
it? Yeah.
I think for an offensive guy, a guy that's produced and what he's been given, would he want a little bit more? Is it fair for him to ask for more?
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Yeah.
This second power play unit doesn't get a whole lot. They're getting out there with 15, 20 seconds. That doesn't give you a whole lot of time to, produce and
got to enter the zone usually too.
I think your second unit, within that time frame, you're just, okay, how can we get, set up and maybe get a quick strike before the guy gets out there? So he'd be an interesting guy to I think he's come and he's done exactly what, he's wanted to do. And I think he's done what the Oilers have hoped that he would do. It'll be interesting if he thinks that maybe is there more opportunity, kind of like an Arvidsson.
Yeah.
Right.
He's bounced back quite nicely for the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. It's got to be frustrating, I would think, for certain guys if you're not, one of the guys, right? Those top guys eat up a lot of minutes and a lot of opportunity, deservingly so.
Mm-hmm. And I get that that's probably part of the enticing part of signing with the Oilers, where, wow, if I can get into that role and I can play with Connor McDavid or Draisaitl, I put up a lot of points. But if you don't get into that spot and someone else does, you're in the bottom six.
Yeah.
And then you're not getting power play one time instead. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, if they like you and want to play with you and there's some chemistry between you, I don't think there is no better place. But if there's no chemistry and it isn't working, it's maybe not the best place, right? So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
So tomorrow night when Edmonton takes on Utah, hopefully you get to a shootout. Both teams will be trying to get their first win in the shootout of the year. Tonight, though, you got the Sabres and the Lightning meeting in Buffalo. Buffalo right now, second spot in the Atlantic. Tampa, first place. 2 points back. They're going to go head-to-head. This should be a really fun game. The intensity should be rocket. And then you got the Montreal Canadiens, who are in third spot, but still tied to the Sabres. Like, that division right now is just so good, and everything really matters here. Like in the Eastern Conference, outside of the Carolina Hurricanes, everyone else can still kind of jockey for position. The Penguins in a good spot in the Metro, 6 points up on the Flyers, but crazier things have happened. They're kind of hitting their stride, won the last couple of games. But Brownie, this is fantastic. Like right now, you got 5 teams eliminated from playoff contention, and we're into game 77, 78. Like this is what the NHL wants.
This is what the NHL wants. This is what we want, right? I think as a, if you're a fringe fan, it's probably sucking you in, right? If you're a fan, you're already in and excited and watching the standings, and every game matters. I mean, now you're starting to, get a little bit antsy with, you want to obviously get into the playoffs, but you also want to get into the playoffs healthy, right? And you're starting to see some of the big guys, on different teams, I guess, Makar being one of them, right? Start getting nicked up, right? So everyone's kind of holding their breath. As much as you want to get in there, you make sure, you want to get in there healthy. And it's fun watching the teams that are, going in, they're all going in differently, right? And the teams that I always look at it from a coaching standpoint, like, who's found their game, right? Who's still tweaking their game. And then trying to see how that all plays out. And then you have the goalie dynamics too. I mean, the Oilers aren't the only ones that are in a situation where, who is their number one goalie?
Yeah.
And when do you, when do you go with that? And when do you announce it? And, I still think there's time. The story can change so much. Like Jari obviously is going to be a big part of this team and this run moving forward, right? Like, how does he get in? Does he get in? Right? He can change. We can see like, every team, there was teams that were out that are now in, and there's players that we were questioning now have found their game. As an athlete, they're always trying to find something, and it doesn't take a whole lot for them to find their game.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really intrigued by Montreal. Like you talk about ramping up at the right time, going into it, not on a losing streak. Yeah, they lost their last game, but they're 8-2 in their last 10, right? Like they're making that division. Oh, it's going to be a really close race.
I love it. And I love it because being Canadian, obviously the Leafs aren't going to be in it. It's nice to see some Canadian teams in it, right? It's always when Canadian teams are in it is exciting. And I think we all feel that when they're not, you're just like,
yeah,
like it's still, you still have a bit of like, it's our game.
Yeah. You got the Sens in there right now, but Islanders, Red Wings, Jackets, Caps all fighting. And then the Winnipeg Jets out west. Now they're fighting to get in 3 points back of the final spot. The Preds holding it down right now with 81 points, but still enough games to make it up. And
what about the Sens? Like, I just wonder.
The injuries are tough there.
Well, just the injuries. Now you got the podcast and the comments and, the dynamic of a room.
Yeah.
And coming down the stretch, right? This is when you're, the last thing you would want as an organization, Steve Stales would want is anything but hockey talk, anything but a distraction.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is the game now. There's more podcasts, there's more people talking about it, and now you got athletes as they're playing, doing podcasts.
Let's talk about that after our next segment. Because I want to ask you, you've lived in the NHL, you lived the lifestyle. Who has the time for a podcast? We'll talk about that after. Up next, though, we'll get to Eduardo Encina. He's going to join us, covers the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times. We'll talk about the game tonight and just what Tampa might end up facing in the first round, because there's a lot of things that can still change. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Sean Brown sitting in, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you. With salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the game live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at sherbrookelliquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Bad roommate. Welcome back. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Make sure you check out the Lotto Max tomorrow, an estimated $75 million with 12 Max Millions. Also got the Lotto 649 Gold Ball Jackpot, $24 million. And today, the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day. Could you imagine? playalberta.ca. Connor Halley, Sean Brown with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. We are talking about the races in the playoffs and just how great they are. And for a long time, I think I looked at the Atlantic Division and thought, okay, Tampa Bay's got it. But that's not where we're sitting right now. We're getting one of the best races, and it's not the pillow fight of the Pacific Division. It's, I don't know, a real fight, a fist fight. Lightning, Sabres, Canadians, all within 2 points of each other. We're going to discuss the Tampa Bay Lightning right now as we go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. Deal sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. Only available until May 4th at participating restaurants in Western Canada. Also, go try the Chicken Big Mac. We had a couple dropped off last week, and they were quite tasty. As we bring in Eduardo Encina, covers the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times. Eduardo, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I really appreciate you joining us on the show today. And I'm sure at some point you probably thought the Lightning might run away with this division, but the Buffalo Sabres caught fire, playing some fantastic hockey. The Montreal Canadiens, all of a sudden, 8-2 in their last 10. They're making a late season push. So what can you say about this Atlantic division, just how competitive it's been?
Yeah, I think it's even gone back a few months now. I mean, when you look back at the Lightning and then the way they played, I think that this stretch of going 21-1, and most teams you would say you put together a run like that and you're going to have a pretty healthy lead. And they did that, and these other teams are still kind of nipping at their heels. And the Lightning kind of struggled coming out of the Olympic break a little bit, and I think they had an 8-point lead at one point, and that kind of went away. But everyone's been winning, and even we talk about those teams at the top, the Sabres and the Canadians, but even down, you go down to Boston, Ottawa, you still got other teams that are fighting for playoff spots, and that's really what's been all year. And for the Lightning, they're not really, they clinched a playoff berth right now. They're not too concerned about where they sit in the standings right now. They've been a team that has won the President's Trophy and got knocked out the first round, so they know that it doesn't mean that much to get a number one seed or to even win the division. So right now, I think what their main target is just kind of making their game the right way and playing the right way going into later on this month when the playoffs start.
So the Lightning have some grizzled vets. They got Vasilevsky, they got Kucherov, they got a number of guys that have kind of been there before. What's the real benefit, and what do you see the real benefit with those guys in the lineup?
Yes, I mean, obviously those guys have gone through the wars, right? They've gone through these long, playoff runs, playing every other day, and they know what it's like to survive a 7-game series. But to be honest, before they won those back-to-back cups, they'd gone through that too and been on the short side of it. So I think it's valuable to also know, what it takes to win, but also the difference between winning and losing in some of those, playoff series before they won. So I think the experience is it's huge, but at the same time, this team, has had a major turnover since those cup teams, or even the 2022 one that went to the final against Colorado. But the core stays the same, and I think that's really the big part of it is that you have a lot of guys on that roster that have been through it. They know what it's like. They know the kind of playoff hockey, what it is, and the kind of games you're going to have to play and you're going to have to pull out. So I think they feel pretty good about their chances going into this thing. And I think, knowing that, probably the East is as tough as maybe it's been in, this past, several years, even without the Panthers and the Leafs and some of those teams that they've kind of had to go through, in recent years.
John Cooper, he's been there for quite a while, and Connor McDavid talked about it. How well they're coached, and he's obviously had some success with the Olympics, not winning, but he's a very, very good coach. Like, what is it that he seemed to do to kind of reinvent himself, or just to stay fresh through his time with Tampa?
Well, I think if you talk to Coop about the one thing that he'll always turn to is with kind of the stability within the organization. He's had, a lot of support through thick and thin from ownership, from Jeff Vinnick, and the new owners have come in, from Steve Yzerman and Julian Breezeball, after him. So, it's interesting because, nowadays you see, like we've seen, coaches that are in playoff spots or still competing for playoff spots, losing their jobs, 2 games with, 10 games left in the season. And you never could really see that happening here. And there were some lean times. Obviously, that they started the season a little rocky. I think they had 1 win in their first 7 games. And, there was maybe a lean stretch a couple of years ago in the middle season mark, but there was never really any threat that John Cooper would ever lose his job. I don't think. I think that, he's been a guy who knows his room. He knows his players. He's had the benefit of having really good veteran leaders, whether that's Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, a lot of guys who've come up with him through the organization. So he just has that stability. He's the organization really supports him through thick and thin, but also he's one of those guys who's really kind of a player's coach. And I think Connor said it. He says that they have a good structure. They know what to do. They all know their roles. And I think A lot of guys who played for him would say that, is that you know where you stand, you know the role you have, and you kind of have this kind of family dynamic that's built through the trust in the coach, but also the trust within the room amongst those guys too. So they've really kind of built a good, I know that we use the word culture a lot, but that's really what it is in Tampa, and that's why they've been so successful in terms of making the playoffs and having some deep runs.
Eduardo Encina joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, covers the Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times. I've got to ask about Nikita Kucherov, and I think for people that don't get a chance to watch every game, you can look at the box score and say, wow, he's putting up a lot of points. But for you, someone who sees him night in and night out, what are the little things he's changed or doing in his game that have led to all this offensive production?
Yeah, I honestly think that when you look at, he's obviously put up huge numbers the past, 3 years. And I think the one thing that stood out this year is really his two-way game. I think that there have been times in the past where maybe Cooch, hasn't been necessarily committed to his defensive game, but I do think that this year you really see him really, really commit to that 200-foot game. And the way he's a guy who, when he's engaged, he plays the forecheck really well. He's a guy who's always around the puck. He's always around the play, and he can make guys make mistakes. So I think that a big thing has been his play away from the puck this year. And obviously with the puck on his stick, he's just a magician. He's a maestro. That's what we call him a lot. And he slows the game down. His game's a lot different than Connor or Nathan McKinnon. His game is one that he kind of slows it down and dissects plays, and he's always kind of a couple seconds ahead of you when he's dissecting it. So I think that's the thing. Is like, and even guys who we talk to him after games about passes that he puts right on their tape. The thing about playing with Kucherov is that you just got to know that he's going to get the puck to you. And he's done it this year. He's done the years of past. But I think this year, the pace that he's been on for the past maybe 50, 55 games, it's been pretty remarkable. And as he goes, the team goes. So when you look at the way they've played since over the past 3 months or so, or even going back to December, you can look at the score and the lines that he's had, and a lot of times he's had more 3-point nights than 0-point nights, I think, over this stretch. So he's been very remarkable, and he's been a guy that's really kind of led this team, not just with his offense, but also with the way he's played, defensively away from the puck.
Another leader on your team, the former Oiler that just seems to just keep getting it done. He's still scrapping and finding ways, is Corey Perry. Since he's been there, what can you say about him?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously stepped into a room that he was pretty familiar with from, his couple of years that he spent in Tampa. And, but I think too, Corey's kind of, been, re-energized in some ways, by coming back and even playing with some different guys, He was like, I think I asked him one of his first days about, being in a familiar room. And he's like, there's a lot of guys who are new, and change is fun. So he's just one of those guys. I mean, you guys know is that he brings a certain energy that really is kind of unparalleled, both on the ice and off of it. And he's definitely one of those guys who, lack of a better term, kind of makes guys stand a little taller on the ice and on the bench and everything. And I think that's one thing that maybe this team has kind of, created a new identity for itself this year after losing to the Panthers the past couple of years, is kind of being one of those teams that's going to stand up for itself and not going to let anyone, take advantage of them on the ice or anything like that. So I think Corey brings that, and he fit in right away, and it's really no surprise to me. I think that he's one of those guys that, it's no secret why the teams that he's on tend to go pretty far, in the playoffs.
Eduardo, before we let you go, the game tonight, Sabres Lightning. Last time these two teams met, there was the Sabres walking away with the victory 8-7. You had fights. It was high intensity, tons of goals, of course. What's the energy like going into this one? I saw on Twitter you had said you got debates going on in your comment section already.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I think there's like a Venn diagram of fan bases in the mentions now. That's the kind of the angry Buffalo fans that want, kind of get a piece of Brandon Hagel, who's not going to play tonight. And then you've got a little bit of the disgruntled Panther fans in there a little bit who are kind of getting in there too. But I think, it's going to be a good game. I think, both of these teams have wrapped up, a playoff spot. So they're playing to kind of, get their games in order in terms of that. But I mean, the Lightning don't want to play an 8-7 game, that's for sure. And I think that they know that the kind of game that they want to play is one that's a 3-2 game, and the big thing for them too recently, they've been able to get away with it, but I think they know that they're not going to be able to get away with it in the playoffs. They've had to chase games a lot, and that was one of those games, that 8-7 game where I think they fell behind 3 goals in the second period, came back, took a 2-goal lead, and then lost that late. So it's going to be one of those things. I think it's going to be physical again. I don't know if it's going to be the 28 penalties and 10 fighting majors that we saw last month, but I think there'll be some physicality for sure. And there's definitely going to be some message sending, because at the end of the day, this might not be the last time that these teams face each other. And in all likelihood, it probably won't be if both of these teams, might meet each other, later on in the playoffs with a lot more on the line. So there might be a little bit of that too.
Might be stressful for those fan bases, but for the people out west with no horse in the race, that would be an outstanding series. Eduardo, thanks for doing this today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That is Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Eduardo Encina covers the Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times. Give me that series. I mean, we'll see what Montreal has to say about it as well, but you get a second round series, Lightning Sabres, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's funny I was just thinking back when you were talking about this game that they're playing tonight. There's a lot of players right now that are probably having a restless pregame nap. I don't miss those days of kind of rolling around in your bed, kind of thinking about potentially what could happen. So, but yeah, it's exciting for us fans. Anytime, you can create a rivalry like that and have that type of emotion. Obviously, you don't need the fighting, right? That kind of comes with it. Not necessary, but just that overall compete, right? It's a beautiful game to watch when you got the skill that both teams have, and then you got the physicality to go along with it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. The only problem is, you got the Oil Kings National Championship, college basketball, Jays, Dodgers. There's just too much going on right now.
What are you picking? What do you do?
I don't know.
What's your setup? You got more than one TV? I only got one, but
no, I left when I had the roommates, we had 3 TVs set up, and then I got into a relationship and 1 TV.
Yeah.
So 1 TV and maybe a phone, probably something on the phone. I think you got to go with the more important games. I think having the Oil Kings game on somewhere or listening.
Yeah.
And then probably got to have the National Championship game on.
Really?
But then I'll be switching back and forth.
I mean, that's exciting. Any championship game in basketball or any sport is nice. But I think if you have anything locally going on, right? To me, the Oil Kings, Oilers, something local kind of, for me, kind of trumps anything else.
You got highlight shows you can watch after.
You can always,
and all that.
Yeah.
Jason 30.
Record.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can always watch it later.
Technology has come a long way.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. When we come back, you kind of mentioned podcasts and athletes doing podcasts mid-season. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Get your thoughts on that. Take your text 1-833-401-1440. We got one from Bobby about the Oilers and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notaloneco.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Karius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
to Sports 1440.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better papa, better pizza. Whoopsies, Papa John's.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Declan. Huh? Said unacceptable. No. We good. 347. Jeez. 11. I think I'm on Fantasy Frenzy here. We're rolling through here today. Almost halfway down the show. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Declan Kruger, and intern Mackenzie with you here. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. Go there, maybe feeling your underdog story, the Toronto Blue Jays. They're underdogs right now. I mean, you got the Dodgers in town. Of course they are.
This is good for the Jays, I think. Struggling a little bit. You get this is a big game, an emotional game. The city's going to be probably pretty excited. I'm excited. I think would be, that'd be a pretty amazing being around that area and having an opportunity. I think Otani's pitching maybe the third game or something.
Yeah, you got Yamamoto in there too.
Yeah, I think I would love to, be a part of that and watch a game. And I watched that little bit of, I don't know, it was a Jays promo or something like that, and what they've done to Rogers and some of the adjustments. And, on a nice, who doesn't want to see the sun right now? I think we're all sick of this, and want the nice weather. It'd be nice to be able to sit at Rogers, have a beer, and just watch a nice game and take it in.
I was cleaning the hot tub today. So I drained it all out, and then they're trying to get the water out of the very bottom. But it's so cold, and it's cold that I just absolutely hated it.
Would you get a shot back?
I guess I could do that.
That's what I do.
I should do that, but I'm just down there with my little cup, just scooping out as much as I can, some towels, wiping it up.
Yeah.
I'm not a hot tub guy. I'm trying to become one.
Yeah, me neither.
But the maintenance and everything for me, I'm like, if a real hot tub person saw it, they'd be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hire someone."
I think the saltwater ones, are easier, and
that's what I have. Yeah.
Oh, you have a salt, and you don't like the maintenance of that? I got to go out there and I have the chlorine pucks, and I got the little stick I put in there, and I'm reading the colors.
I got 2 test strips.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
But I kind of got behind on my maintenance like the last month or so.
Throwing more chlorine.
So now I just emptied it all out. We're filling it up
Yeah.
again and
Yeah.
get the salt in there tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so does your wife like it? Like I find that.
No.
Oh, really? See,
No.
I'm not a fan of it either. My kids love it.
Yeah.
And when they were younger, we used to go in there quite a bit together. But I found that it was annoying for me because I'm the last one out, right? And so I got to grab the cover. It's chilly out, so you just go from being relaxed and warm to now you're scrambling.
Yeah.
To get the cover and get it all set up, and then you're running in, and it's just that whole time of being relaxed is now gone.
But it's so nice when you're in it.
Oh yeah,
Just
for
looking
sure.
out into the
Yeah,
distance.
especially when a light snowfall.
Oh,
it is so nice.
that sounds quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't experience that. But I will. Like I'm gonna get this thing down. I'm gonna get it ready. But like last time we filled it up, as I filled it, sprung a leak.
Oh no.
So thankfully, we had a repair guy, a great guy, came over, fixed it up, and we were set. But yeah, it would have been a lot more comfortable had the sun been out.
Yeah.
Is what I was gonna say.
When I first got it, I forgot I wasn't up. I didn't realize how much you had to be up on the chemicals and stuff. And I swear it was like less than a week before I checked it. And I opened the lid, and it was like these little floaty things in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
You got to be on top of it. MTR says, okay, we get it. You both have hot tubs. The rest of us are scum. No, MTR, the rest of you are stress-free. Yeah, you don't want this lifestyle, this hot tub lifestyle. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, just kind of the podcast, and start with the Kachucks, and they're doing theirs.
Yeah.
I would remember the Kelseys doing theirs, Travis and Jason, and the NFL lifestyle. You play one game, you have your days off, and if you want to do a podcast, that's fine. The NHL lifestyle, to me, from an outsider, it seems like it's a lot busier because you're playing 3 to 4 games a week.
Yeah.
You got practices. When you have a day off, like if I had a day off in Edmonton, I'd be like, I want to do something with the family. Maybe you got to do laundry, clean up the house. Like you're busy.
Yeah.
Does it surprise you that these guys have the time to go to a podcast?
A little bit. It definitely is something new, and it's probably the new athlete, and it seems like the thing to do is kind of create a platform for yourself, and there's always life after sports. So I think it's important that athletes are aware of that, and probably take advantage of it at a time that is easier to do it. It's just probably the balance of balancing it all out. I think what you see maybe with the Kachucks is it's not easy, because I think when you're tuning into a podcast, or you're a certain player, and they would be one of them, that people listen, obviously, and what they say goes a long way. And I think I didn't listen to their podcast. I just listened to snippets of it. And I think there's some challenges that have come out of their last podcast. And from an organization standpoint, especially a team like that's coming down the stretch, that would be the last thing that any manager or any coach would want, creeping into their dressing room, because whether you listen to it or not, everyone's on social media, and there's going to be a portion of it that everyone's going to get exposed to. And, words matter, opinions matter, so, for me, I guess, looking at it from my point of view, there is always going to be life after hockey. And I think that you want to take advantage, like I said, of the platform you have, but you're a hockey player first, and you only have so long to play.
Yeah.
Right. And, there's going to be these opportunities for these guys now, but there are also going to be the opportunities for those guys, later. Where is that line of being, I don't know how much a manager or how much influence you could have as an organization to say, hey, Connor, like we brought you in here to play hockey. We signed you to a lot of money to play hockey, and we want you to play hockey, and we want that to be your number one focus and only focus.
Yeah.
How much you can control in today's athlete, I don't know. I'm not in it, right? But it does take up a lot of time. They're young guys. They might, I think they have young families, right? I don't, you have a young family. It takes up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's getting easier with technology. Like you could hypothetically, okay, we're going to do this 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, go record this podcast. from each of our basement studios, whatever it might be. I'm sure they have world-class stuff set up as well. Like there's funding behind this podcast, but I'd be curious. I mean, and I'd like to ask our listeners as well. Do you listen? Does it intrigue you? Maybe I think probably for Florida Panthers fans and Sens fans, maybe American hockey fans, if they're talking about the Olympics, it'd be cool to get a behind the scenes of what they were doing. If McDavid and Draisaitl did the podcast, I'm sure Edmontonians would absolutely love it. So, I mean, it's cool to get a glimpse into it, but sometimes I'd just be like, I think I just want to watch a movie and get away from the game.
And there's got to be it's got to be hard too, because I think a lot of what we want to hear as fans that would tune in would be what you're not necessarily anyone's going to see. Everyone wants to know like the behind the scenes, like, what was said in the dressing room? What do you guys say on the ice? Those are the interesting stories and insights that they could share that would be a benefit of being a listener. But I think too, as an athlete that's in it, you also have to make sure you're somewhat protecting your teammates too, right? Because they're a part of it and a part of these stories. So a very hard balance. And I think probably the closest guy that I can think of that was close to the newer type of player was probably Larocque.
Yeah.
Who was very further ahead in his understanding of creating a platform. Right. And
he got into media quite quickly, right?
I think he did. I mean, there was a time I remember playing with him and I turned on the radio and he was giving relationship advice. Right. So he was way ahead in the things that he was doing. And like I said, I mean, good for him. He created a platform, still has a platform and does a lot, for himself and the community and different charities. And I think it's wonderful. But when you're playing, I think there's a fine line. I think you have to be very careful about it, and especially if it has a chance of getting into the room.
Yeah. I mean, and as soon as there is a drop off in play, you open yourselves up to that criticism from, people on the internet these days.
Where's your focus?
Yeah.
Right. So, it'll be, I think I think it's going to be more the norm, to be honest with you. That's the way I think, athletes are kind of trending and thinking and have a lot of, reason to be, to look towards that. There's a lot of money and opportunity that comes along with it.
I would not be surprised if someone sought them out.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll pay you guys this if you want to do a podcast. I don't think it was the other way where they're like, we should start a podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure if McDavid, McDavid's a hockey player. You know what I mean? Like that guy's a hockey player that just loves hockey, wants to think about hockey and wants to do whatever he can to be the best player and to eventually bring a Stanley Cup. So some guys are into it, some guys aren't.
Yeah. Brownie, you'll be back next week. In the meantime, the Oilers in Utah, in San Jose, and then in Los Angeles for 3 road games. What do you think the record is? And which game does Tristan Jarry get into? Because they do go Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back.
Yeah, that I would say he'll get one of the games of the back to back. Well,
would you go tomorrow?
You know what? I'll take that back. I'm going to go tomorrow because I think the goalie that they're going to go with is going to need, a couple games to just get in that rhythm, right? As these games come down the stretch here, the routine and the mindset is obviously very important. And that guy is going to need those opportunities to make sure that he's going into the playoffs feeling comfortable and confident in not only the games, but just in his overall preparation.
And 2 starts ago for Jarry was in Utah.
Yeah, and he played well, right? I kind of thought maybe he was going to get the next game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought that, so yeah, why not go back with him? And he's had success and it seems like he's kind of finding his game. So I think that's important, right? To regardless of how you go in there, if you can have 2 guys feeling good about themselves is only going to benefit, the team.
100%. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen, right? You never know when someone can get their number called. Well, Brownie, thanks for joining us. Yep. Have fun at the Oil King game tonight.
Awesome. Okay.
There you go. That is Sean Brown, former NHLer, joins us every Monday here on the Jason Gregor Show from 2 till 4. He's heading down to the Oil Kings game. You should do the same. Tickets at oilkings.ca. Just $20 to get in. Plus, take advantage of the kids menu. You don't have to be a kid. You just take advantage of those prices. Game 7, Oil Kings and Blades, puck drop just after 7 o'clock. Lots to get to still here on the Jason Gregor Show. Kevin Woodley's going to join us, so we'll talk about the goaltending for the Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, some wildcard teams who could be poised potentially for a big run here, backed by their goaltender. Also, Spec will be by. We've got the 2-minute warning, 5 questions, and we'll hear from members of the Edmonton Oilers as well. But first, let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Fountain Tire. At Fountain Tire, we can meet all your car needs and more. With our digital vehicle report, we don't just tell you what your car needs, we show you. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
News around the sporting world as Canadians Denis Shapovalov and Gabe Diallo have dropped matches at the Monte Carlo ATP Masters event. The Chicago Bulls have fired VP of Basketball Operations Konosovas and their GM Eversley. North Carolina is set to name former NBA Coach of the Year Mike Malone as head coach of the basketball program, and Ottawa Charge coach Carla McLeod is stepping away for an undetermined period of time to receive cancer treatment. NHL games today get going at 5 o'clock with Tampa and Buffalo. 8:30, we'll see the late game with Nashville and Los Angeles. In the NBA, 5 games on the schedule getting going at 5. We'll see New York and Atlanta, and Detroit and Orlando, Portland and Denver, the late game in the league at 7. Toronto Blue Jays will play today at 5:07. It's going to be Max Scherzer on the mound for that one as they take on the LA Dodgers in a World Series rematch. Right now, the Cubs and the Rays at the end of the 7th. Rays lead that one 6-3. Royals and Guardians set to get going here in about 10 minutes. UConn, Michigan tonight in the March Madness final from Lucas Oil Stadium. And Game 7 of WHL playoffs, Saskatoon and Edmonton, 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people.
Whoa.
Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business line at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
You started wearing it to guys' night. Nice toque, you hoser. Then you started wearing it to work.
Nice toque, you hipster.
But the truth is, you're not a hoser or a hipster. You're just trying to hide your hair loss. I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, and for over 2 decades, I've used the latest techniques to help thousands save their hair, including my own. Come see me today to explore your options. By the time it warms up enough to take off the toque, you could have a head of hair you won't want to hide. Go to drvanceelliott.com today.
Tomorrow and Wednesday is the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Listen for stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You'll also hear from members of the Stars team. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Appreciate you guys joining us here on the show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. He'll be back on Wednesday. Declan Kruger, Mackenzie here, as well as we get you through this Monday afternoon edition of this show. Hope you all had a great long weekend as well. Of course, as always, Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. All revenue stays in Alberta at playalberta.ca, and the Lotto Max draw $75 million tomorrow. Remember, use your game sense. Go to gamesensab.ca and stay within your limits. Still to come on the show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector for the Spec Report, talk some Oilers and more. Also, Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine and NHL.com will drop by to talk some goaltending. We'll get to 5 questions with Declan, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, and we'll hear from members of the Oilers coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Right now, though, we'll get to the NCAA report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home and no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca. And of course, tonight, March Madness. It comes to an end with the Yukon Huskies, number 2 seed, up against number 1 Michigan Wolverines out in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. It's going to look awesome, as it always does at this point. Michigan, 6.5-point favorites going into this one. And we got to bring in our expert, Declan Kruger, here, because he can talk circles around me when it comes to college basketball. And Declan, obviously 1 and 2 seeds. We're not shocked here, I would say, by this, but did you expect Michigan and UConn? Would you have given them a pretty good chance here to meet in the final? And what are your expectations for tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, I had I had Michigan as a Final Four team.
Yeah.
I didn't have UConn in the Final Four just because I thought that East region was so tough. Like that Michigan State for them, I thought was going to be tough. Obviously, Duke, who they ended up beating, but were down 19-2, thought that would be tough if it had been Kansas, St. John's. So no, I didn't have UConn there, but I should have had more faith. I should have had more trust in Dan Hurley. Like he is on the precipice of doing something pretty crazy. This could be 3 titles in 4 years. Like Coach K didn't do it. Williams didn't do it. Self didn't. Like this is John Wooden-esque by this guy here on the front door of doing something really incredible. Now he's going to have to get past the most consistent team all year. One of the most consistent teams all year, them in Arizona. One of the top 4 KenPom teams ever in Michigan, play such a great style, slow things down, have NBA talent. UConn does as well. It's going to be a tall task, but this is also kind of the time of the tournament, time of year where it's like, let's stop talking and let's enjoy the game. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all done. It's all led up to this. Now it's time to kick our feet up, have a vodka Red Bull and enjoy the game.
Who are you watching out for? Who are the players to watch in this game?
Well, I think like Yaxel Lendenberg is probably Michigan's best player. He's going to be an NBA player, but he's a little older. He's like 23, been there forever. He actually had a quote that was kind of funny. It was like, I feel disrespected when they have a freshman guarding me. And people kind of came back at him and said, yeah, everyone who's your age is in the NBA already, buddy. But he's going to be one. I've said this, for a long time now. Like, I think a lot of what Michigan does runs through Elliot Cadeau. He handles their ball. He's their primary point guard. He's not going to be the best player on the court by any stretch of the imagination. And he is going to go, or I shouldn't say he is, but he can kind of go through stretches where he gets a little cold. He gets a little bit mistake prone, but still, like, a lot has to run through him. I feel like Braylon Mullins, obviously, he's kind of a household name now because of that shot against Duke. But obviously, Terrence Reed has been so dominant. AJ Caravan is a really, really good player who can score the ball at a really high clip for UConn. I'm also very interested in the coaching matchup, quite frankly. Like this Dusty May took that Florida Atlantic team as a 9 seed to the Final Four, almost to the national championship game. There were a Lamont Butler, San Diego State buzzer beater away from being in the championship game as a 9 seed. He is an incredible coach, and he's a really, really good in-game adjuster. Not that Dan Hurley isn't, but Dan Hurley is a little bit more of a culture builder, sets the framework for what the team is. Dusty May, I think, is a little bit more of an in-game adjuster. And so I'm really, really kind of excited to see that coaching matchup between the two, like two really, really, really good coaches. I don't want to say Dusty May is the best coach in college basketball to not win a title if he doesn't hear. That might be disingenuous to like the Kelvin Sampsons, the John Shires of the world. But he's certainly on the short list. So really excited for that. But I just love basketball. I love this tournament. I'm really, really excited to watch. We got some NBA talent on both sides of the floor. Let's hope they make their shots. Let's hope if it's a defensive game, that's cool. Let's hope it's not a game where they both shoot 27% from the field, but let's just enjoy it. That's what it's really about. You watch sports to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this stage, especially now, just sticking with college basketball, Michael Malone, formerly of the Denver Nuggets, looking like he's going to join North Carolina. They've been making some splashes with their hires, Bill Belichick and now Malone. What do you think of this hire?
I mean, the NBA game and college are just so different. Like, I don't know. He had it pretty good in Denver. Like, what was his game plan? Give Nikola Jokic the ball? Like, I think I probably could have done that too. I'm not taking shots at Mike. Well, I'm just saying, like, it's a lot different when you have to actively recruit these kids and when you have to actively put in systems like offensive systems, half court sets, full court prep. Like, all those things mean so much more in the college basketball world. Like, obviously, he has a phenomenal basketball mind, but I always just get a little bit nervous when you see an NBA guy go to college like this. Like Fred Hoiberg in Nebraska, people might say, well, what about him? With Chicago, it didn't work. Well, but he was an excellent college coach at Iowa State before he did that. You know what I mean? So he had that experience. I don't know. It can't, like, North Carolina's a program where they don't sit on the sidelines for too long. He is obviously a phenomenal basketball mind. He's a champion, so I'm sure he'll do well for them. It's not always maybe the first hire I'm looking at, like a big name NBA guy. I might go to one of the smaller programs who's had a lot of sustained mid-major success first, but what do I know? I'm not an AD.
Well, I mean, sometimes we can question, what do they know? And I think, like, yeah, you have that. He's been there. He's done it. He's won at the highest level. And that could be intriguing to some players, but you also got to get out there on the recruiting trail, right? And I mean, how did that go for Bill Belichick? So we'll see what they do in the next couple of years here, but it's different for sure. And then on the women's end, we had UCLA beating South Carolina. Dawn Staley, man. I always roll with the Gamecocks on the women's side just to fall this way. And it wasn't particularly close.
No, shout out UCLA though. Like, that's awesome. I had UConn winning the women's tournament. I think I had them beating SC, or no, that wouldn't have made sense. I must have had them beating like Texas or something. I don't know, whatever it was, but shout out UCLA for getting there. Shout out them for doing it. Huge for that basketball program, because they, like, as much as that men's program under John Wooden has such a rich history. Like, it's just a basketball school through and through. So to see Gabrielle Jaquez and the women's team have success like this is awesome for basketball at UCLA.
Just sticking with the college trend as we're talking, around the NCAA here with Declan Kruger. The NFL draft coming up just over 3 weeks away. One of the players I've been really intrigued about is Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami.
With his little T-Rex arms.
Oh, that's the thing. 30-inch arms, 31-inch arms, which we've heard that before as a knock for an offensive lineman when you're playing tackle. You got to kick him inside to guard. A lot of people think Ruben Bain Jr. has bust potential. Do you buy into that, Declan? Because you watched him play. We saw him. This guy gets after the quarterback. He's a menace. The pro game, though, it's a little bit tougher. Do you think Ruben Bain should be a top 5, top 10 pick?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, there's a funny stat with his arm measurement is 31 inches. This isn't the actual stat. I don't know what the actual stat is, but there's something like a player with 31-inch or shorter arms has like never had more than 4 sacks in a season. Like, I don't know what the exact stat is. It's something around that, like in and around that. But Joel Klatt made the point pretty frequently, just turn on the tape with Ruben Bain and just watch him play. And he was playing obviously big games. Like he was playing Ohio State offensive lineman and that Indiana offensive line. Like he has kind of been through that Ole Miss offensive line. That's an SEC offensive line. He's kind of been through the ringer and the who's who of the best college players in the world in the country on the offensive line. So no, I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I think he's going to be a good pick. It is something that kind of makes you scratch your head and you say like, I don't know. Historically, this doesn't look great, but when you actually watch him play, I don't think anything. And he's so fast too. Like he doesn't need to do a lot of hand fighting because he stays really low, cuts the edge. Like I like him a lot. But again, I like a lot of these guys because I spend so much time watching them. And I'm usually the last one to let go. Like it could be year 6 and they could be on their 5th team on the practice squad. And I could still be saying, I don't know, but I'm still in on him a little bit. Like I'm buying stock. So I'm not always the best person to ask. But yes, I do think Ruben Bain is a really, really, really tremendous talent. And if you're a fan of whichever team gets him, you should be happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. Just turn on the tape, the arm length, that's maybe he'll work around it. He's always had that arm length. And
you say turn on the tape about someone and they just show you Jamarcus Russell's tape and don't say a word. Like, how about that tape? Corey Coleman, how about that tape?
Wow. Jamarcus was something. You got to put a little bit of stock into other things as well. Who was he throwing it to? Buster Davis and Dwayne Bowe downfield.
Hey, Dwayne Bowe was kind of sick though.
Yep. Those LSU receivers, man, they always pop off. Just didn't work out quite well for him in Oakland. And I will say, Declan, I remember that draft. I remember being worried. I'm like, oh no, the Raiders got their guy. This is going to be a problem. This guy's massive. They're not even able to take him down.
If lightning strikes twice the same way with Fernando Mendoza, because first of all, stop watching football. But second, like the personality discrepancies between both of those guys, just for it to happen to be both, would be too much for me. Like I think I might break down in tears. It'd be too much for me to bear.
That is not, I mean, he could be a bust. It's potential. Like it could happen. Some guys maybe not even as high on him as others, but I think he's just too likable. Like
his size is so good, man. And he shows up in big moments. Like
that's it. When he needed to make a play for the Hoosiers last year, he did it on the biggest stages.
Yeah. Like when I go home at night for dinner, I have a big plate of Mendoza. So I'm all in on this guy.
What about Ty Simpson out of Alabama? Because you see mock drafts early on and it's like, yeah, maybe he creeps into the first round. And then you got people coming out here saying he's QB1. I don't buy it myself. I'm Team Mendoza. But where do you think he could go? Like, because now you're seeing mock drafts where he's like going to the Cardinals.
Yeah, like I think he's in the second round with that pick they have in the second round, or as they're with their first rounder.
I've seen first round mocks where he's going there.
Yeah,
no mock. Who cares? What do we know? But
I think he's probably the second best quarterback in the draft. I think it's a pretty steep gap from Mendoza to him. I'm not that in on Ty Simpson.
I'm with you. I mean, the one thing that does kind of worry me is his games played. Like he got into games his first 3 years there, but didn't he 15 starts his last year?
Yeah,
28 touchdowns. You're playing with talent. You're at Alabama.
They had a long season.
And
losses at Bama get amplified too. Like it's kind of similar with like the Bush thing here. Like when Bush makes a turnover, like we are playing that tape 8 times. Twitter is playing that tape 8 times. Same thing with an Alabama quarterback, right? Like the good stuff he does will get overlooked. That said, I don't think he's an NFL franchise changing quarterback.
I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
And he's not blowing the tape off or blowing your mind with the running either.
His size is pretty average. Like I don't know, man.
I do like the low interception number. I do like that.
I think he only had 5 this past year.
Just 5, yeah.
If I turn on the tape of Fernando Mendoza and hand it to someone on the street, like I think they can pick out what he does well, even if they don't know football. If I do that with Ty Simpson, I'm not sure the layperson can do that. And I don't know if that's what you, now granted, that's not exactly a great metric, but I still don't know if that's what you want from someone who's supposed to be QB1 for an NFL franchise for 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you watch the game in Auburn, 3 touchdowns. You're loving that. I mean, the yardage wasn't necessarily big time. I think he completed only 50% of his passes. Really good game against Wisconsin. But then there's just some other games like EIU, the Eastern Illinois Panthers.
Yeah, man.
He didn't throw a touchdown.
Didn't have to.
He threw 2 interceptions.
Run the ball.
But didn't throw a touchdown. There's some of those games where, yeah, you're kind of scratching your head. Was good against Oklahoma in the first playoff game. Not so much against the Hoosiers, who they fell to 38-3. An absolute whooping. Well, Deck, thanks for your contributions here. Couldn't have done it without you.
Heyo.
Are you watching anything other than basketball tonight? I think we did the math. You've got like a solid 50 minutes to get home.
Yeah, that's no problem. Get home, feed and walk the dog. It should work out. I'll probably just miss opening tip or I'll probably just make opening tip. After that, I don't know, man. I might. You know that new John Hamm show, Friends and Neighbors or something like that?
On Apple TV, I think.
Yeah. I've been watching that. It's okay.
I might check it out.
Yeah.
I got nothing else going on. I just rewatch the same shows. MTR says, I've seen Simpson mock to the Rams quite a bit. I mean, hey, put him with McVay for a few years. Let him learn under Stafford. Maybe just a year. I don't hate that. I'm not a huge fan of necessarily always rushing quarterbacks, so that could be okay. Lance says Mendoza will bring the Raiders another championship. Maybe down the road, right? Probably not next year. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. We'll talk goaltending around the NHL. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best junior hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Jasper Ave and 118th.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
I'm good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly. Guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Bring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discount. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your FlexiBee card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Tomorrow and Wednesday is the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Listen for stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You'll also hear from members of the Stars team. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWill. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewill.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewill.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.426, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, and intern Mackenzie with you here as we're running through this Monday edition of the show. Lots to get to still. We got Spec, 5 questions, the Oil Report, Cam Tate, and coming up next, we get to Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com as we'll talk some goaltending around the NHL as the playoffs approach very quickly. But big guest of the day brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Exciting BCHL playoff action Tuesday and Wednesday at the Thompson Family Arena. Get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca as we bring in Kevin Woodley, In Goal Magazine. Kevin, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing good. I'm coming to you from the car, so I apologize for that. Out of the hop, did not quite make it home from the morning skate of the Vegas or afternoon practice of the Vegas Golden Knights. So
that's okay. We'll take it. Why don't we start right there with the Vegas Golden Knights? And they were in town Saturday night. Carter Hart made the saves that he needed to make for his team, picked up the 2 points, which was crucial in the Pacific Division, as now they trailed the Oilers and the Ducks by just 1 point. When you look at this Vegas Golden Knights goaltending situation going into the playoffs, how confident are you that they can get the job done? Because, you know, we saw Adin Hill a couple of years ago take the reins and run with it. What are your thoughts that they can do that again with what they have?
You know, I think it's probably going to be up to Carter Hart, unless Adin Hill can just kind of throw back and rechannel what happened during his cup run, because we haven't really seen that guy since. Now, injuries have played a role in it, you know, but this is a team, when you look at the underlying numbers, that, you know, shouldn't frankly be in a race for the Pacific Division lead. They should have it locked up. Goaltending has undermined a lot of it. Their defensive metrics are all really impressive. They just haven't gotten the saves. You know, you mentioned Carter making the ones he's supposed to make and the ones he needed to make in Edmonton the other night, and they haven't gotten that, right? Like all of their goalies are well below the environment. They're playing under expected based on the quality of shots they face. And Carter, with this little run, it's only 3 games, but talking to him today and how he feels about his game, the work he did coming off of the injury, I think right now he looks like their best hope to sort of rediscover that. And it's not like they need brilliance, to your point, but but I think Carter's a guy who has the ability to give you a little bit of both, right? Steady, no bad goals, but he's also got another level to him as he gets more comfortable coming back off this. So I expect it'll be him again here in Vancouver, 4 straight, as they go for 4 in a row under Torts. They're playing with a little more pace. I think you saw that in Edmonton the other night. Not a lot of X's and O's changes under Torts, but talking to John today and just a lot more mentality shift and mindset shift and trying to play faster. Obviously, he's a guy that leans heavily on his top players. That's been good for Mitch Marner so far. Let's see if that continues into the playoffs. But as far as the goaltending goes, I think it's the Carter Hart show from here on in, as long as he stays healthy. The faith in Aiden Hill, as much as that's not what they're saying, it seems to have loosened significantly this season. And I think the only reason you see him in the postseason is if, there's an injury to Carter.
Interesting. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers, if you can. Tristan Jarry for the team. The last 2 starts have been better. Obviously, we know the game against Utah a couple weeks ago, they had more block shots than saves, but picked up the win. Now his last game against the Blackhawks, not facing too many shots, but a .944 save percentage. Oilers fans will take that all day. He's got to get into at least 1 or 2 games, we think, down the stretch here. What have you thought of Tristan Jarry as of late with the better defense in front of him?
Now, I haven't been able to watch both of those games in totality, just because of other duties and other things that I have to watch around the league. I think one of them went head-to-head with the Canucks game that I was covering. So, I don't have a lot of eye test on him. I will say this. The environment is clearly improving, Connor. And we've talked about him being a little bit of a flow and read goalie. Connor Ingram's a little more technically sound. Like, he's got a little bit more of a technical foundation, but also a goalie that reads the game exceptionally well. And it feels like from watching, there's a trust developing in terms of how they want to play, and their goaltenders and the execution. And that's been missing most of the year, right? So, in terms of Tristan Jarry, like, he moves so much, he plays such a flowing game that if those reads are off in any way, like, it's just not going to look as pretty, right? Like, he's not a hit me goaltender, has a tendency to, in that movement, get a little extra movement, a little counter rotation, a little bit of losing the hands as he goes east-west, like dropping his hands. And I think as he builds trust in what's going on in front of him, you'll see less of that. The environment for them right now since the Olympics defensively has ticked up 5-on-5 high danger chances against. Only the Columbus Blue Jackets have been stingier. They're right up there with Philly and Dallas and St. Louis near the top of the league in that metric. And typically, traditionally, that's been a metric that matters the most come playoff time. You can pretty much put a series, put 2 teams head to head, maybe transition offense being the other one, but head to head, see how they look in that category, and the team that's better comes out on top. Now, the Oilers are down near the bottom of the league on the season as a whole, but since the Olympics, with some of the changes in structure, and as you see those take hold, like, that's a very encouraging number, and it's a number that should allow their goaltenders to have a better chance to succeed. We've talked for years, this is not a team built to rely on goaltenders to save the day, stop bullets in their teeth, be Superman. But in order to sort of get a base level out of them, you have to give them better defensive structure. And once again, we talked about it, Knobloch his first year, it was there from the get-go. Lacked a little and picked up down the stretch last year. It's taken a lot longer this year. It's been a lot less consistent. They'd find it, then lose it. But it appears to be back right now. And, when you ask the question, who do you not want to face in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as long as that game's in place defensively, I'd have the Oilers in the Western Conference near the top of that list for all the attention that the top 3 in the Central get.
All right. Kevin Willey of In Goal Magazine joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. So we're talking playoffs now. In the West, I mean, it's unbelievable. You got it in the East as well, and maybe we'll go there after. But when you look at the teams fighting for that final wild card spot, you got Nashville, the Kings, the Sharks, the Blues, the Jets, the Kraken, and, because they're not officially eliminated, the Flames. Which goalie do you think is capable of getting on a bit of a run here and maybe propelling his team to go further than expected?
Well, interestingly enough, that number I just talked about in terms of your 5-on-5 game and how much high danger you're giving up, and a lot of that is off the rush, right? In other words, are you giving up the free goals? So I think it goes hand in hand a lot of the time. And so the goalies I'd be most worried about happen to be on a team that I just named as being top 5 since the Olympics in the underlying stat. and that's the St. Louis Blues. And for all the attention that Joel Hofer's getting, and rightfully so, because he's been great, from an adjusted standpoint, Binnington's been right there with him. Since the Olympics, they are number 3 and 4 in adjusted save percentage in the National Hockey League. So when you combine a team that, I think most people think should be better than they are, like more than the sum of their parts, and they haven't been to this point this season. You look at how they played in March. It hasn't been perfect, but there's been a lot more ups than downs. Like, that's a group that I'd be worried about, because both the team dynamic defensively and the goaltending seem to be coming together at the right time. I probably wouldn't want to have anything to do with the Winnipeg Jets in the first round of the playoffs if they were to get in. We know what Connor Halley is capable of, and yes, I know right away but he doesn't do it in the playoffs. We saw it at the Olympics, what he's capable of. This is a team that was the best in the league defensively last year, was the worst in the league for most of this year, and their goaltending suffered for it. But again, since the Olympics, they've tightened things up. Top 10 in that 5-on-5 metric I was talking about. So, not near the top of the league, but anytime you're in the top 10 and you've got Connor Halley, that's something that that's something that I'd worry about. Vegas with Hart, we talked about. Beyond that, though, honestly, out of those other teams that are fighting to get in, I don't worry about San Jose. They're better defensively, but they've been bad all season overall. They're still the second half of the league in terms of that metric, and their goaltending isn't bad. I feel like I gave the kiss of death to Alex Nedeljkovic actually on this show a couple of weeks ago. He was absolutely rolling, playing at a top 6 level, and ever since I said that and pointed it out, the wheels have come off for him. And Askarov has had some okay starts, but he hasn't been the answer either. So goaltending is letting them down. The defense is better since the Olympics, but still not great on a whole. I don't worry about San Jose. Nashville, honestly, UC Saros is a guy that could be capable of stealing a series. And when I talk about, again, the metrics, the goalies that are playing really well, Saros since the Olympics, top 13, plus 2%. But when I look at the way the team defends, 28th in the NHL in that key defensive metric, I am not worried about them at all, despite liking their goaltending. I just don't think their defensive game is good enough. LA Kings, similarly, goaltending hasn't been able to outperform an environment that is worse than it's been in years in LA. Bottom third of the league, defensive metrics, goaltending that hasn't been able to bail them out. Seattle, despite a great start defensively, they've fallen off a cliff of late. And you're sort of seeing that in the results. Their goaltending hasn't been able to keep up. So honestly, I know there's a lot of consternation about what it might look like, who you might face in the first round, depending on where you're penciled in the Pacific Division. Utah, same thing. Vejmelka's been great on the season as a whole, but I don't know that he can outperform a defensive environment that's bottom 8 in the National Hockey League. So for all the focus on that race, the only team that sort of has the type of momentum that typically translates to playoff success is St. Louis, a little bit Winnipeg, a little bit Vegas if Carter can get rolling. But the rest of them, I don't know that you worry about it, to be honest, Connor.
All right. Now, how about if we look out east? Because we got a great battle there. Again, for the final wild card spot, you got the Flyers right in there. They could drop out of the Metro, the Sens, the Islanders, the Red Wings, the Jackets. A lot of teams on losing skids, the Caps. You know what they can do if they get in. What do you think about the East? And is there a goaltending, a defensive unit you think that, again, could go on a bit of a run here?
Man, the way that Dan Vladar is playing behind a Philadelphia team that, as I said a little earlier, since the Olympic break, top 3 in that defensive metric. Like, a lot of these teams are sacrificing offense to defend at that level. Philadelphia is one of them. But Columbus is another, right? Columbus is, since the Olympic break, has the best defensive metrics, but they're not scoring, and they can't put those two things together. So the thing about the playoffs is it's usually defending that gets you through. And if you can get a little special teams help, we saw it last night with Philly in overtime. I know it's a 5-on-3, but for all the criticism Tocchet got here in Vancouver about willingness to play young guys, for all the criticism he's had in Philadelphia about Michkov, there's Porter Martone out there in overtime in a 5-on-3, and I watched that game. He's out there with 2.5 minutes left in a 1-1 game. So the Flyers are a team that if they get in, I think they could scare some teams at the top of that conference. A team like Montreal that is at the opposite end of the spectrum, from a defensive standpoint. They rely on goaltending, and they've been getting it since they make the goalie coach change. Really good goaltending, but I think they lean too heavy on it. So Philly's a team I'd be a little worried about. Carolina has the great underlying metrics, but they're difficult on goalies in a different way in terms of no shots, but all quality. And so they're one. They need a goalie to get hot right now. Maybe it's Pyotr Kochetkov. He's back on the ice after hip surgery a lot sooner than anyone expected. Wheels have kind of come off. As much as a fan I am of Brandon Bussey, he's struggled of late. Freddie Anderson, again, tough environment, but he struggled of late. So, I'm not sure who's coming out of that. I'm not sure I'd be worried about teams at the bottom of that race, with the exception being maybe a little bit Columbus and a lot of Philadelphia.
Kevin Willey of In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Before we let you go, Kev, just want to look at the Colorado Avalanche, because you see them sitting atop the Central Division. But what have you made of their goaltending duo?
Well, let me actually, one more I forgot to mention. Sorry, Connor. In the Eastern Conference, the New York Islanders, if 4 games is enough for them to figure out how to defend the way Pete DeBoer wants them to defend. Again, we talked about Nedeljkovic and a jinx. I think I said at the end of the show last week here with you guys that if Ilya Sorokin doesn't win the Vezina, the GM shouldn't be allowed to vote anymore. And I think he's gone like -6 in goals saved above expected since. So still leads the league, which shows you how big the margin was. But I think I smushed another one there. Man, if that team could ever figure out how to defend consistently in front of that guy, not only would he be my favorite to win a Vezina trophy next year, but if they can figure it out in short order here, they could be a dangerous group, because there's a goaltender that scares you come playoff time, despite struggling a bit down the stretch here. Colorado, real quick, they're a team that, the defensive metrics have dropped a little bit here. Attention to detail has been hard to come by with such a big lead, and the way they started the season looking like such a wagon. But the real question to me is in goal. I think based on contract status, history, pedigree, it feels a little bit like the Avs too want Mackenzie Blackwood to be their guy. But since the Olympics, after playing relatively consistent to each other for the whole season, in terms of their adjusted numbers, Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood are on the polar opposite sides of adjusted save percentage. Wedgwood leads the entire NHL since the Olympic break at plus 5.4%. Mackenzie Blackwood's bottom 5 at minus 3.3. What do those numbers mean? Well, added up between the two of them, you're talking about 9 goal difference on every 100 shots. That's almost a goal every 10 shot difference between these two. So as much as the plan may have been Mackenzie Blackwood, the way Scott Wedgwood is playing right now, I think you have to change that plan. And I am fascinated to see, because he's never been an everyday guy. Does he have it in him to do it every second night without having some of his game breakdown? That is one to watch very closely as the playoffs start here. And maybe even over the next week going into it, to see if they can get a little bit of, confidence back in Mackenzie Blackwood's game, because he's at the bottom of the league and Scott's at the top. And I mean, think about that, like 9 goals every 100 shots. That's a pretty tough discrepancy to overlook.
That's crazy. All right. Well, something to watch out for down the stretch and into the first, and I think probably the second round of the playoffs. It's going to be awesome. Kevin, thanks so much for doing this today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. Kevin Woodley, In Goal Magazine, joins us every Monday here on the Jason Gregor Show. And of course, as we always do, preview the goaltending matchups as we get into the playoffs with Kevin. Nobody better in the biz. It's our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. You got playoff action tomorrow and Wednesday. Get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll get to 5 questions with Declan Kruger. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Even as the silence of winter passed, you could hear it. The crack of the bat, the crowd surging, and the thundering, relentless pound of your feet as you charge forward towards first base and a fragile temporary safety. The diamond is calling. It's time to play ball. Step up to the plate this season with the best gear from St. Albert's Source for Sports. Our experts will help you find the perfect grand slamming bat, the right cleats, and a glove that feels like it's a natural, inseparable part of your body.
Play ball.
And if your trusted old glove needs some TLC, St. Albert's Source for Sports' glove relacing and repair services will get it back into game shape from the first practice to the final inning. St. Albert's Source for Sports has got all your bases covered.
Safe.
And if you're looking for cycling gear, we have all the bikes, equipment, and advice you need to keep rolling season long. Get ready for the season. Visit St. Albert's Source for Sports today.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at www.cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
The Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, intern Mackenzie with you here from the Sports 1440 studio in West Edmonton Mall. Thank you for joining us on the show. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Lotto Max, an estimated $75 million plus 12 max millions. You got the Lotto 649, Gold Ball Jackpot, 24 mil, and the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day. Go check it all out at playalberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Right now, let's get to 5 questions with Declan Kruger, brought to you by The Brick. Spring into savings at The Brick. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals and up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. Which team currently in an NHL playoff spot is in the worst position for the next 5 years?
5 years. Okay. I mean, kind of want to look at some of the teams that have been doing it for a long time and might drop off. To me, there's one that stands out above the rest. It's got to be the Pittsburgh Penguins, right?
Yeah.
They could rebuild like Sidney Crosby. 5 years. I don't know. I'd love to see him in the NHL still. Geno Malkin, same sort of thing. Chris Letang, of course. But I think there might be that drop off there. I'm wondering if at one point, can you make some moves and try to recoup some of your assets? But the Pittsburgh Penguins would be the team for me, Declan. How about you?
Yeah, Pittsburgh's good. I don't know. I kind of look at Ottawa right now, and I'm just like, you got to figure out this Brady Tkachuk thing. Like Keith Tkachuk is going on his podcast basically saying he doesn't want him there. You got some pretty, I like Jake Sanderson a lot. I like Artem Zub. It just seems like, I know they're a playoff team right now, but that Brady Tkachuk thing, and even still, it feels like even with Stützle, Sanderson, and Zub, that feels like 3 pieces of a good, not great team. So I don't know. They might be mine. And then on top of that, Linus Ullmark he's rebounded a little bit here, but he's got a full no move. He's 32 years old. He's getting $8.2 million until 2029. That doesn't exactly seem like an enviable way to be set up as a franchise.
That's fair. That is fair. I'd also have maybe Nashville in there too.
I was thinking it was between Nashville and Ottawa, if not Pittsburgh for me. Yeah. Question number 2. Which teams could the Lakers beat in the first round of the NBA playoffs with no Luka and no Austin Reeves to start their playoffs?
Who can they beat in the first round? So right now they get Minnesota. Okay. I'm going to say the LeBron for a series can carry a team. Against Minnesota, man, we saw how good they were in the postseason last year, but this is not last year. So I'll say they could beat Minnesota. I'll say the Suns. And we're talking teams that are in the playoff picture or just in general?
Yeah, teams you could conceivably see them facing.
Yeah.
So there's a few. It's kind of a short list.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of the 2 that pop off. Golden State, man, if Steph's healthy, I'm never ruling him out. Trailblazers on fire, kind of. Hey, 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, playing good ball.
I'll take King James over them though. But I think that'd probably be it. What do you got? Now, if people are actually betting on or looking at this and taking it seriously, listen to Declan. He knows way more.
Well, yeah, I don't. When you look at realistic possible matchups, maybe they slip here in the last couple games, and I don't know, is it a 4-5 versus Denver or Houston? I don't like them in either of those series. Houston's got a lot of problems with kind of their clutch time scoring metrics, but still, I don't like them over Minnesota at all. I think if you're the Lakers, you got to find a way to hold on to that 3 seed and just hope Phoenix can get to that 6 line, because I think that's the only team you could beat in a 6-3 matchup or 4-5, truthfully, is that Phoenix Suns team. Because you're not going to be playing the 7 or 8 team. You're not catching San Antonio or Oklahoma City. I think Phoenix is really their only shot.
Now, Luka is seeking treatment in Europe.
Yes.
Never
Spain.
A good sign.
Not great.
Austin Reeves done for 6 weeks.
Yep.
Man. 2 huge injuries at arguably the worst possible time.
No, I mean, they got nothing. Yeah, that. I think Minnesota would tear them up. I think Minnesota would demolish them, but I don't know. Number 3, the Oilers have 11 free agents this offseason. Some, of course, are RFAs. Who could you see them overpaying for, and what would it look like?
There's a few that come to mind for me. When we talked about it with Brownie, Roslovic would be one that I think you could potentially pay for. And maybe spend a little bit too much money. I don't know what that would be. I'm obviously hopefully not the term that Trent Frederick got. That seemed like a little bit of an overpay, an overdue date. It just seems like it's going to be a little too long. I would probably throw Jason Dickinson in there as well. I get it because you traded for these guys. You want to keep them as long as you can. And I wonder about the cost. And then on the back end, Connor Murphy is another one. And, they might not be crazy overpays, but I think that might be a name. And then also remember the cap's going up. So numbers might be a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, so they're going to have, 18 mil in space next season as it stands right now with all these UFAs and RFAs, and they got 11 roster spots to fill out. I just don't know how you can divvy up this money. I think Dickinson is a guy they would love to keep, but how much do you give Dickinson? Do you give him 3.5? Then all of a sudden you've got 14.5 to fill out 10 more spots. That doesn't really seem great to building a winning hockey team. You look at Roslovic, he's probably worth more than the 1.5 he's getting this year, but how much are you going to pay Kapanen? Max Jones, you probably want to keep around.
You got to pay Podkolzin in 2 years as well.
Yeah, you got to pay Podkolzin. No, not until 2031, 2030. He's got 3 years.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. 2.95. Okay, that's a value deal. Sorry, I didn't scroll. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's got, but so I'm saying, there are a few guys. I think Dickinson is one who probably gets, because what's a realistic number for him? 3.2, 3?
Was making 2.13 this year, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably going to want to raise, but at the same time, he also spent the last few years, not playing playoff hockey. So would you be willing to maybe take a little off the top to play with a competitive team, maybe just for 2 years? Maybe you're saying, I'll be here as long as McDavid's here.
Yeah, I just look at it, I'm like, man, 18 mil for 11 spots, or roughly 18 mil for 11 spots. How many guys can you actually overpay? You know what I mean? And then, to your point, Dickinson, first name that came to mind. Question number 4. Which city currently has it the worst in North American sports in terms of being a fan base?
It's tough because you go through it and there's 2 out of 4 are, not good for a fan base, but then 1 is pretty good. I guess I'll go with Washington. The Nationals right now sit last in the NL East. I know it's early. Caps could be missing the playoffs. The Wizards, Declan. The Wizards. And then, the Commanders, after what we thought they were building something, had a pretty good run to the NFC Championship, kind of fell flat on their face. And I know a lot of that went with Jaden Daniels and the injuries, but I think that would be my pick, would be Washington right now.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
What do you got?
I don't know, man. Am I loving life if I'm a Saints fan right now?
No.
Plus the Pelicans are terrible. Now they don't there's no baseball, no hockey down there. But that's not great. Sacramento, the A's are moving if you want to, I know that's Oakland, but they're playing out of there, whatever. And the Kings are just terrible in the worst front office. And it's you're so close to being LA or something cool, but instead you're Sacramento. That's always kind of tough inherently. So I don't know. I think Washington's a good answer. Maybe New Orleans as well, or Sacramento I'd throw in there. Question number 5. Bit of a lengthy one. Stick with me. For $100 million, you get dropped in a random part of the ocean for 30 seconds every day for 5 years. This $100 million is tax-free right into your bank account once you accept this. Now, the catch is every day at a specific time chosen by you, you will magically appear in a random part of the ocean for 30 seconds. During this 30 seconds, all you have to do is survive. And it's random. So it could be shark-infested waters. It could be near a boat. Could be off the shores of an island. All you know is that it is a random spot in the ocean at each time. You'll be wearing nothing except your swimsuit, which will keep you warm. If it's cold waters, it's a nice thermal suit. Once you accept this deal, it starts the next day. If you die, you die. And if you you can take a rain check 50 times in 5 years with no punishment. Would you take this deal?
So if I die, I could take a rain check 50 times?
No, you can take a rain check at 50 times over the 5 years.
On my wedding day, I could take a rain check.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Christmas, you might want to take a rain check.
And I'm dropped in, I could be in Antarctica, but with my swimsuit, I'm not cold.
Yeah. I mean, you'd still be cold, presumably, but it's
I'm not freezing to death?
You probably not in 30 seconds.
And then I just pop off and I'm back to normal life.
Yes.
Every day.
Off too.
Wish me luck, boys. Yeah, why not? I mean,
wow.
I got to think that I'm in shark-infested water. If I get bit and my leg comes off, when I go back to reality, is my leg gone?
You spawn back with no leg.
Oh, that's a problem. Because odds tell me that someone's going to get me. What if a whale ate me and I'm alive in its gut? I'm alive still?
No, I think that counts as death, man.
Well, I got to say that's generational wealth. So I think I got to do it for Benny in his future.
That's fair,
I'm
man.
doing this. How about you? This is like the old Hypothetical Fridays, but like a really good one.
I don't know. The risk reward is like, obviously the reward, $100 million. You can help a lot of people with that money. But man, I don't know. 5 years straight of random ocean. 30 seconds is like, it's not long, but it's there. Stuff can go wrong in 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, 100%.
And if you're near a boat or something, like, I don't know.
But think about those days where you just got like ankle deep in Maui. Statistically, it probably would happen.
Those
right?
are gonna happen too. I don't know if I would take it. And here's the other thing: like, if you're like in the path of a boat, because that's a random spot, there's not much you can do. Like a lot of like, I don't think you're beating that undertow if you're swimming.
30 seconds.
I think the risk is too high. I think I got to say no.
Where'd you come up with this question?
I think I saw it on Twitter.
Okay.
Possibly read it. Definitely didn't think of it myself, but I thought it was a really good question.
It is a good question because, like, for 30 seconds, you think you could do it, but you could be put in a bad spot. There's no doubt. Well, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Oddball says no Mount Rushmore question. Boo. Maybe we'll come back with that.
Mount
tomorrow.
Rushmore of ocean spots you least want to be dropped.
There's so many. There's so many. There's only like 3 I'd want to be dropped. Propane P says they could easily overpay for Connor Ingram too. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we will get to Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll also hear from members of the Oilers as they spoke to the media earlier today, and we'll get to Cam Tate's latest 2-minute warning. But first, a Sports 1440 update here with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Spring is coming, and so are the Corvettes. Come see the vets at their new Autoplex and get 0% financing. See more at northgategm.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
MLB scores around the league right now. 4 games tied 0-0. Reds, Marlins, Padres, Pirates, Brewers, Red Sox, Cardinals, and Nats, while the Guardians lead the Royals 1-0 in the top of the 4th. And a final today saw the Rays over the Cubs 6-4. Toronto Blue Jays set to throw out the first pitch in about 6 minutes time here against the LA Dodgers World Series rematch, of course. Scherzer on the bump for that one as the Jays play host. In the NHL, 4 games today. The action will get going right away here between Tampa and Buffalo. Seattle and Winnipeg will be next up at 5:30. In the later games, we'll see Chicago and San Jose and Nashville and Los Angeles. In the NBA, action also set to get going right away here between New York and Atlanta, Detroit and Orlando. The late game in the league, we'll see the Denver Nuggets playing host to the Portland Trailblazers. WHL playoff is going to see Edmonton play host to the Saskatoon Blades. 7 p.m. puck drop down at Rogers. And news around the sporting world, including Ottawa Charge head coach Carla McLeod stepping away for an undetermined period of time to receive cancer treatment. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
From the first pitch to the final out. Catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Diamond Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone girdles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, and Mackenzie with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. The show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max, an estimated $75 million plus 12 max millions. You've also got the Gold Ball jackpot, $24 million. And today, the Daily Grand, $1,000 for a day for the rest of your life. Could you imagine how amazing that would be? Remember to use your GameSense, GameSenseAB.ca, and stay within your limits. Got the Blue Jays and Dodgers getting going shortly. We'll join that game in progress on our AM feed immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. If you're listening online, you're streaming, you'll get Fox Sports Radio. So lots going on here on Sports 1440 right now. We will get to the Spec Report with Mark Spector, brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring. You can work with a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. Also, they're huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How was your Easter?
Oh, it's pretty fair. Connor had a good weekend.
Right on.
Hockey. Looking forward to Game 7 of the Oil Kings tonight. Going to watch that one way or another. So
too much going on. It was good. It was good. Yeah, like tonight you got the Oil Kings, you got the Jays, March Madness National Championship game going on. Lots to get to. I got to ask you though. You have the grandchild. Did you guys do an Easter egg hunt or anything like that?
The kids did lots of Easter egg hunts. I unfortunately wasn't part of one this year. Our grandkids are really, really, really young. So it's really only one of them that's ready to chase around Easter eggs. And so, no, I wasn't. But we did visit all the kids on Easter and brought a bunch of chocolate. And that's what you do, man. Feed them full of chocolate and then split.
Get out of there. I love it. Speck, you were down at practice today for the Oilers. Updates on Draisaitl and Hyman from Coach Knobloch. Any reason for optimism, you think, here?
Well, Hyman, I mean, listen, I always preface these by saying that they don't want to tell us anything, / they sometimes mislead us, / they'll outright lie when playoffs are coming around. So, my information comes from Chris Knobloch's mouth, and I'm not calling him dishonest, but NHL teams aren't great at this. He expects Zach Hyman to play regular season games. So neither Hyman nor Draisaitl are going on this 3-game trip. The Oilers come home next week for 2 last games against Colorado and Vancouver. Knobloch at this point expects Hyman to play in at least 1 or 2 of those games. He did not expect Draisaitl to play. He is hopeful Draisaitl's ready for game 1 of the playoffs. Reading the tea leaves, I'm thinking closer to mid-series, and that would probably be good for Oilers fans. If you get him back in round 1, you should probably be happy about that.
Absolutely. Colton Dach back on the ice. It looks like rotating on the 3rd line. Do you expect him to get back into the lineup tomorrow night?
They may put him in. Yeah, it's a good question. I think they like to give him a little bit of a run up to the playoffs because you never know. Playoff time comes, and I would say to you that you don't know how many bodies you're going to need. You don't know how many guys you have. I kind of think that, Connor, and I wrote this today, a story that's up on sportsnet.ca. The Oilers are just in pre-playoff mode. These 5 games coming up, they're locked into the division top 3, right? They're not falling out of the Pacific. So where they finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, I don't think they really care. Who they play, I don't think they really care. They're just, they're missing a couple guys. They want to get their PK going. They want to get their overall game going. They might want to work a guy like Colton Dach, give him a couple games where he's ready to go. But I feel like they're just calmly marching through these last games. I wouldn't be surprised if that last game against Vancouver, if McDavid sits and another guy sit. Like, I think their regular season's over. They just have 5 games to play.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, we saw that last year. I don't think there was too much urgency on who the opponent was. If they play their game, we know what they can do. Anything else stand out from practice today?
Not particularly. I'm going to guess that Jari plays in Utah, and Connor Ingram gets San Jose in the back-to-back. But I assume Jari will get one of them. I bet you that it's in Utah. I don't know that for sure. Other than that, no, it seems like, guys are relatively healthy here, except for those 2 big guys. And when you're playing without Hyman and Draisaitl, I mean, that's 80 or 90 goals out of your lineup here, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely massive. Is Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. What have you made of the pairing of Nurse and Murphy since Murphy was acquired from Chicago?
Well, they're settled right down into being a good shutdown defensive pair there. That's what Bowman wanted with Murphy, and I think Murphy's been good for Nurse's game. We're not talking about Nurse. What is he doing? How did that guy get past him? Why is he over there? I'm not hearing that on talk radio in Edmonton over the last couple of weeks. So, when Nurse's game settles down and he plays a strong defensive game and he's a presence out there, he's a good player. Right? He's a good player. It took him a while to find it this year, but I think the pairing with Murphy for my second pair, like the first pair is dynamic, and they got a great offensive player in Bouchard and another guy in Ekholm that's pretty good offensively, and your second pair shuts her down, and they're big and strong and tough. I kind of like that makeup on the back end.
I'm totally with you. 100% agree. As we're doing this, Teoscar Hernandez just hit a 2-run shot. Dodgers up on the Jays. 2-0 in the top of the first. So hopefully Gregor's enjoying.
Hey, Oscar, what the hell?
Yeah, right. What are you doing, man?
Respect your old team.
Exactly. Mark Spector joining us here on the show. I did want to ask you about Tristan Jarry because you said, looking like he could get that start against Utah. And last time we saw him play, he did a pretty good job, but he had a ton of block shots. He has gotten better efforts in front of him his last two shot games. Obviously, won the game against the Blackhawks as well. Have you noticed any change in him off the ice, on the ice, since kind of winning those games? Maybe just feeling himself a little bit more.
Well, a little bit of confidence, right? Like, listen, I don't care how long you played. I don't care how long you've been in the NHL. It's been a rough year on Tristan Jarry's confidence, right? He gets traded out of Pittsburgh. He comes here. It doesn't go well. Then he gets hurt. Then he comes back. It goes even worse. It's like, I know he's a veteran and he's done a lot of stuff and been in a lot of pressure situations, but it's hard in your confidence, man. Like, I've watched these guys. I always marvel at how a guy who's played that long in the NHL can still have confidence issues. Not issues, but how they can sort of lose their confidence. And I would say that the Oilers playing a really strong game in front of him in Utah. He wins, I think it was 5-2 there. One goal was a double deflection fluke off of two Oilers. Then he comes back and plays against Chicago, and the Oilers were good but not great in that game. And I think, what was the final in that? 2-1 or 3-1 with an empty netter?
3-1, yeah.
So he lets in one. So, that's back-to-back excellent starts for him. Success. He found some success. The team's showing him that they can play in front of him because they didn't play very well in front of him before that. Now he comes to Utah, and I think he's just looking to string some stuff together here. Maybe it's too late in the season to probably repair his numbers. They're not very good. They're not going to be good this year. That's just the way it is. But we all know in Edmonton that you go into a playoff with one goalie starting, but you tend to need the second one at some point. So, I think his time to shine is still in front of us here.
I totally agree. We've seen that the last couple of years here with the goalie duel, the tandem that they had in the past. I do have to ask you, just going back to when Paul Coffey was hired, I think it was February 18th, in around there after the Olympics. And, as of late, we have seen the defensive play improve for this group. And it's not just the defensive unit. I'd say it's, 5 players out there all doing their job. But how much do you think the improved defensive play goes to Paul Coffey, and how much do you think it is just a veteran team knowing that at this point in the season they do have to ramp that aspect of their game up?
Well, I mean, the overall team game credits to the, I feel like this team they've learned over the last 2 years that October through March is really just, there's not a lot of value in it. I really feel like they pushed it last year later before they started to play well. And this year they pushed it even later. And, if this team has success in the playoffs, Connor, I told my boss, I'm not even coming to work till February 1st next year because the rest of it's meaningless. So I would say the overall team game I give to the players. But the individuals in the back end, like Wallman's games come together quite a bit. He wasn't very good this year. And since Coffey's come and had a little time with him, we noticed that Wallman's game is together. We're just talking about Nurse. This is the best Nurse has played all year. It just so happens that Coffey showed up. Does he have to do with that? Does Murphy have to do with it? I can't tell you. But I don't think it's a coincidence that a couple of guys whose games were very unsettled for most of this season have really found their game in the back end since Coffey arrived. I feel like individually he's a bit of a defenseman whisperer. He knows what each guy needs. And this is the most settled this sixth man decor's been all season. There's no doubt about that.
Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us here on the Gregor Show. We actually got a text in from Sparky Speck. He says, what did you think of the emotion from Trent Frederick at the end of the Vegas game?
Well, good. Good. Do something. Like, you're getting killed by Vegas. You can't go out easy against Vegas. You're going to meet him in the playoffs probably. Could have started 10 minutes earlier in my books, but you know what? I mean, when you lose 5-1 and you fight your way off the ice, I guess it's okay. To me, really, it's kind of meaningless, isn't it? They weren't even fighting. They were just arguing. So, you know what? Big deal. How about that for a response?
I would agree. I don't think Vegas really cared at the end of that game,
No.
for sure. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but the New Jersey Devils parting ways with their GM and president of hockey ops, Tom Fitzgerald. We're seeing these late season moves. We can get to the Islanders after this one, but what do you think about this decision by the Devils to make the change? 5 games left in the regular season.
It's something new here, isn't it? Like Vegas does it with 8 games left. Islanders do it with, I think, 4 of their games left. And I mean, Jersey's out. So it's a little bit different. Like there's an asterisk here. They can fire whoever they want. The season's over. So, but it is, it's almost like they're not wasting any time. Tree Living gets gunned out, right? They didn't wait till the end of the season on him. So I feel like it's almost like a bit of a race to hire the next guy. You know, the Islanders make that move because they want DeBoer before someone else gets them. And I wonder, you know, it's getting really late now. I was going to say maybe that might be the case with Cassidy. If I'm Cassidy, I'm just going to chill till summertime. There's going to be 7 teams phoning me. But it's certainly maybe that's what the Devils are doing. Maybe they feel like they got a guy in mind and they want to move on Fitzgerald before somebody else gets their guy. How about that? Is that fair?
To me, that just kind of was what it has to be, especially, with DeBoer, the Islanders. They lost 4 straight, maybe trying to make that late season push. They are just a point back of the Sens, who do have a game in hand. Did you like that hire of DeBoer to the Islanders, firing Patrick Law?
Yeah, I like DeBoer as a coach for sure. I know some people, what did I hear today? I think Elliott was saying that, when it gets really high stress on the bench, he gets stressed out too. Well, there's a news flash. Everybody gets stressed out. I guess what he's kind of saying between the lines is maybe he doesn't handle the stress as well as others. I would think DeBoer, who's been around a long, long time, done a lot of things. I personally like him. I think he's his record's excellent. He's been to a ton of Western Conference finals. I think he's been to a couple of cups and not won them. But his team's always good. His team's always good, and he knows how to win. So I think the Islanders are that team that has looked good over the years, but never gets it over the top. They never deliver when you need it the most. Is this the coach for them? No, you know what? Like, hang around and read the rest of the book. Let's find out, I guess.
Yeah, DeBoer and Cassidy. Those are the guys I've loved listening to post games the last couple of years in the playoffs. I think they're both, good, insightful coaches. Tell you a lot. They're both gonna. We knew it. They'd both land on their feet eventually at some point here for sure. Tonight, Tampa, Buffalo. Last time we saw them play, it was 8-7. There was fights, tenacity. This race in the Atlantic Division spec has been unbelievable. And now you got the Montreal Canadiens making this late season push. Yeah. Do you see anyone getting past Tampa, who currently game in hand, 2 points up on both of those teams?
Game in hand on Buffalo. Yes, I think they're both 76-76 with Montreal. If I'm not mistaken.
Buffalo and Montreal have played 77. Tampa's played 76.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. I must have the bad standings up here. Anyway, I feel like Tampa's the best team. Tampa's the veterans. They've done it. They've been there. They've been a good organization for a really long time. If I had to put 100 on one team right now in the Atlantic, I'm picking Tampa. But there's, both Buffalo and Montreal are coming. And we love that last Buffalo Tampa game. What did it have? 5 scraps and 15 goals or something?
Yeah.
Like, tune in again tonight. Surely it can't be that exciting again, can it?
I would hope so. 1-0 Buffalo right now, though.
Oh, is it? Okay. Anyway, I love that division. Like, the Habs are tons of fun to watch, right? We all have a spot in our heart for Buffalo. They missed the playoffs 14 years. They're finally good. Who wouldn't want to see Buffalo and Buffalo's fan base, right? Get a little bit of success, maybe win a series. And Tampa's Tampa. You kind of fear Tampa. If the Oilers get to a cup and they play Tampa, you're going to go, man, this is going to remind me of playing Florida a little bit. But either way, those 3 teams are exciting. To me, if I put that division up against the top of the Metro, which is Carolina, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders, there's no contest in who I want to watch. I want to watch that Atlantic Division all day long.
Oh, we're going to get set up for some really good round 1 series. Spec, thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Connor, sounds good, man.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet join us every day here on the Jason Gregor Show. Vlad almost hit a home run. That's why I paused for a second there. Right to the warning track, but just a deep fly ball. Dodgers lead the Jays 2-0 in the bottom of the first. We'll join that game in progress immediately after the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. As we said, Buffalo leading the Tampa Bay Lightning 1-0 midway through the first period. And tonight in the NHL, it's quality over quantity. The Jets and Kraken meeting at 5:30. Both these teams fighting for the playoff spot, as are the Sharks, who host the Blackhawks. That one starts at 8 o'clock. Macklin Celebrini just rolling here. 106 points 41 goals in his sophomore season. Connor Bedard having a good year as well. He's got 71 points. Obviously missed some time with injury. And then at 8:30 tonight, Kings and Preds from Los Angeles. That's going to be a big one too. Like every game tonight has implications for the postseason here, and that's how it's going to be for the remainder of the regular season. I think in the NHL, just teams, even if they clinch, they'll be jockeying for spots. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll hear from members of the Edmonton Oilers as they spoke to the media earlier today after practice. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
Deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Bring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discount. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick. Proudly Canadian since 1971.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton sports leader. Sports 1440.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Right, cold silver moon.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports 1440, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan here. McLennan. That's why I avoided it. It's too many M's. Mackenzie McLennan. Intern, Mackenzie. Country Mac from the Sports 1440 studio in West Edmonton Mall. Thank you guys for joining us. Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. A reminder, we will join the Blue Jays game in progress once we wrap up here at the top of the hour on the AM feed only. If you are turning into iHeart or one of the other streaming platforms, we'll be going to Fox Sports Radio, The Odd Couple. Text line's 1-833-401-1440. Of course, you can always watch on YouTube. Get into the chat there. Sports 1440 AM. Dodgers get out of a jam. Heading into the second, LA up 2-1. Right now, we are going to get to some Oilers audio. Of course, speaking to the media down at practice earlier today. We'll start off with the head coach of the Oilers, Chris Knobloch.
What's the thought on the 3-game trip? You guys control your own fate here. You're still in first place in the division. I guess how important is that to kind of take care of business here and move on?
Obviously, we would like to win as many games as possible, but I like to know that we're working on our game to get as tight as possible getting in the playoffs and not having bad habits and playing the way we need to. Obviously, our lineup's going to be a little bit different during these next few games than it is probably heading into playoffs. We got some guys that are possibly returning, but we just, it'd be great to finish first, and that's the goal. But we'll see what happens.
Do you have any fresh intel on Hyman and Draisaitl? What's the latest on their hopeful return?
Hyman is, I would think that he's going to play 1, if not 2 games before the end of the season. So this week he is out, not playing. Leon is going to be on the ice this week, and I don't anticipate him playing any games in the regular season, and then playoffs sometime in that first round if things go well.
You don't love him for game 1 here, though, you're telling us.
I'm not ruling that out, but I would just anticipate sometime the first. It's obviously been there's a period of time that we anticipated him returning, and we said it was going to be right around the end of regular season, start of playoffs. And, if he gets in that first game, that's great. He has not been on the ice yet. We anticipate he'll be on the ice sometime this week. We'll have an indication of how that's going to go, but probably sometime in that first round.
Okay, so you're trying to find your power play, and that's a huge part of this team. Always has been. You're trying to do it without about 90 goals in Hyman and Draisaitl. Take us through the exercise of rebuilding it for the short term, but knowing that when those guys come back, any work you're doing on this current unit is probably not going to be much use.
No, we are, like I said, we're trying to win as many games as possible, and to do that, and special teams are really important. Penalty kill, power play included. I think that power play has been really sneaked in. The chance generation, it's since Leon's been gone, we noticed it would definitely take a drop. You're missing one of the best power play guys. The impact that he has, but it is still near the top of the NHL in chance generation. And unfortunately, this putting the puck in the net, which is all about, just haven't been able to do that. Whether that's been a little bit of luck. We had a goal post the other night. Goalies have been making some good saves. They're just fighting it a little bit, but I'm confident that it'll start producing.
Chris, are you expecting Hope and Doc to play tomorrow?
We haven't decided on our lineup yet.
When it comes to the bottom 6 guys like Doc, Jones, Lazard, the list goes on, what is the message to them? Because obviously you have Draisaitl, Hyman out, so there are opportunities for them to play, but also vying for a spot company.
Yeah, I think every game is a little bit different. One is it's the playoff times. You're always going to have injuries. The guys are going to be banged up. But you also have guys who their play fluctuates. And then the other is, what do you need going in from game to game? Maybe you need a little more intensity, a little more forechecking physicality. Maybe you need a penalty killer, whatever it is. There will be rotation. We saw it in the last 2 years in playoffs here, where guys are in and out of the lineup just on what the team needs at that time. So, yes, this is an opportunity for them to really solidify and say, I deserve to be in that lineup for game one in the playoffs. Yeah, we're going to need everybody.
This is a little bit like last year where you were missing a bunch of guys down the stretch, and when you were talking to the players, they're like, it doesn't matter when we finish first, second, third, whatever. Home ice is not that big a deal. Is that kind of almost the case again this year?
Very similar. We're missing numerous players. So we had a lot more injuries than we did last year than we did this year, but it gave an opportunity for guys to build their game and get some more ice time and feel good about themselves. That makes it a little more difficult to finish higher in the standings. We lost some games, probably didn't win as many games as we'd like to down the stretch because we had so many guys out, and we end up starting on the road for most of the series. We'd like home ice, but we know it's not a necessity. It'd be nice, but it's not necessary.
Is there a preferred opponent when you guys sit in the room and break down film? Not I'm asking who it is, but
No, absolutely not. There's so many variables on teams who we're playing, and maybe there'd be injuries but right now, no, it hasn't been talked about at all.
Utah's a pretty good team, but you guys have had their number. What is it about you guys, the way you play against that team, that makes you so effective?
I don't know. I think the first time we played them, we won, but I certainly thought that was a game they were the better team. I think that was a game they deserved to win. We didn't, and that is often reversed throughout the season. The game that we just played there, I thought that was a good performance by us. We were very desperate and hungry, and we started that 5-game winning streak in Utah there. So to say that we've got their number or whatever, I think that's just the fact that we were able to win games. So I don't think there's anything. So I think tomorrow night's an important game for us and for them too. I know they want to win as many as they can too.
Going to be a huge game. That's just how it is for the Oilers down the stretch here. Every game is going to matter, especially with the Vegas Golden Knights nipping at their heels. And I'm Ducks, tied with you right now. You have the tiebreaker for the Edmonton Oilers, but one loss when it, you shouldn't lose a game. You drop one and all of a sudden you're in trouble. So obviously not the biggest trouble. You're not falling out of playoff contention, but you want home ice advantage if you can get it. And that game is going to be important. 7:30 start down in Salt Lake City. We'll have pregame coverage for you starting at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson tomorrow. Declan, Tampa tied it up. Guess who scored?
Yeah, I don't even need to guess because he just does it all the time.
Nikita Kucherov on the power play. Goal 43 of the season. Darren Radish, 47 helpers on the year. What a find. So you never give up, kids. And Jake Gensel, another assist for him. He's one away from 50.
That's the Boosh, Hyman, McDavid of East. That's what that is. That's the Gensel, Cooch, Radish connection.
It's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one. They got it rolling right there in Tampa. So, we haven't maybe seen the fireworks, but there's lots of hockey. The last time these two teams met, it was 1-0 after 20 minutes, and then it finished 8-7. So let's hope that offense keeps on rolling. Speaking of offense, Connor McDavid, pretty talented offensive player. He spoke to the media earlier today as well. We'll get to that right now.
You guys still control your own fate.
Yeah. Big trip, obviously. 5 games left. Find a way to get a couple wins.
How do you go about, like, you guys your game's been good and you're working to build your playoff game, but you're doing it without 2 major parts, right? Without Leon and Hyman, can the Oilers, can you build the game you want to play in the playoff when you're missing 2 massive people like that?
Obviously, we're missing 2 big pieces of our team. And when that happens, everybody's got to step up. And as I said, we're more focused on this road trip here. As I said, trying to get a couple of wins and kind of go from there.
Like I say, you'd like to get some goals out of your power play starting tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But if you get a great power play going and then those 2 guys come back, you're kind of starting over again.
Well, not starting over, but obviously we're missing them a lot on the power play. Power play hasn't been, nearly as effective. I still think we're getting looks. We're just not putting them in. So power play obviously has to help offensively. Has to be a part of it. Obviously, we're working hard at it. It's been a work in progress, but those 2 guys are a big piece of it.
Yeah, last one for me. This team and home ice advantage in the playoffs have never gone together as seamlessly as we would think. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you want to win games and play games and all that stuff. What's the most important thing about these last 5 games? Playing well or finishing first and getting home ice advantage?
The most important thing is just getting the X beside our name. I know we still don't have an X beside our name, and that's all we're focused on. Seating, positioning, it's not all that important. We feel good no matter where we start. But that being said, obviously we know our building, we know our home, our fans, and how excited they are. It is a difference maker. So starting at home would help.
Utah's another one of those teams that you might play in the first round or whatever, like similar to Vegas. Is there like a feeling out thing or a message sending thing, or just seeing where you're at head to head against these teams?
No, two teams that need a win and should have a playoff like feeling. I would think two teams that need points and the variability is so high right now between who we could play. I don't think it. Obviously, it's a possibility we play them. I think it would have a playoff-like feel, though.
I wouldn't ask who, but do players have a preference of who you'd rather meet in the first round? I know they always say it's about getting our game together, but like, is it individual or team versus team?
I mean, the answer to that question. It's about us. It's about our game. All the cliche stuff. So, no, it's not all that important.
You've had Utah's number. What is it about them and you guys that make you such a good fit against them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. They're a really, really good team, really strong team. Team that has a ton of skill. Every time we play them, it's an emphasis on playing a simple game and checking them hard and making sure that it's a low event game. They got some high end talent over there that can put the puck in your net, and we want to keep it as low event as possible.
There you go. Captain of the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, speaking to the media before the team heading out to Salt Lake City. What a town. Didn't get on the score sheet against Vegas. That doesn't happen too often, and certainly hasn't happened as of late. He had a 7-game point streak rolling into that one. And hey, I would, if you're at playalberta.ca, I would say sprinkle a little down on over a point, maybe two. He's got 43 goals, 83 helpers on the season, 126 points total coming into tonight. Nikita Kucherov did get on the board for the Tampa Bay Lightning, even things up, but it didn't last long because Josh Johnson would score his 11th goal of this season. Sabres now lead 2-1 out in Buffalo. Before we get to break, we'll hear from one more member of the Edmonton Oilers, steady defenseman Matthias Ekholm.
As disappointing as the loss was the other night, you didn't lose any ground. You're still kind of technically in first place. Now you have 5 games left, 3 on the road. You still control your own fate. How important is that? Knowing that you guys don't need help from anyone else to finish this.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting. I mean, we put ourselves in that position. So now it's up to us to take care of it. And, we got some big games coming up. There's these teams, I mean, they're all fighting for their lives, especially these next 3. So there's going to be big challenges. But, I do like our game. I do think our game has been pretty solid in the last 6 or 7. And, obviously we didn't love our Saturday one. But, you got to move on.
Tell me about trying to put your game together, build your game, get playoff ready when you're missing 2 giant parts like Hyman and Draisaitl that are such a big part of your finished product, I guess. Is it difficult? Maybe throw a wrench into things.
It throws a wrinkle for sure, but at the same time, you got to look at it as an opportunity for some other guys to step in and get bigger roles and more ice time and hopefully get even more confidence going into the playoffs. And I think we've seen that. I think we've seen a bunch of guys step up, and which is great. And hopefully they can keep their play up. And as we get pieces back, obviously that'll be a boost itself. But hopefully we have guys that are on the level where they feel good about themselves and can contribute, even though maybe the minutes go down a little bit. Because as you said, those are 2 big pieces that take a lot of ice time and big roles on our team.
There are 90 goals sort of between those guys, maybe 100 in a good year. Do you have to play a different way? When you know that much production is in the press box, do you have to play a different way?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we just come in here and okay, we're missing 2 guys. Now we're going to flip the script. I don't think so. Obviously, we're missing some goal scoring. But I think as I said earlier, I think the guys have stepped up. I think we've all realized that we're going to have to play some defense. Have to emphasize that part. Can't stress that enough. I think over the five game win streak, that was what the key was to our wins. It wasn't us outscoring. It was us keeping the goals against low. So maybe the mentality shifts a little bit, but I don't think you're flipping a script or anything like that.
Kind of what happened last year, right? You were missing a bunch of guys, and then the theory was that all these other players were going to become better fit. That's kind of what happened, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think there's anything different. I think that's the good part here too, right? Most of our guys have been through it already. So you go through a long year, you're going to get injuries. Obviously, you never want to get injuries on your top guys like that, but hopefully they're back sooner than later. And as I said earlier, I think it's an opportunity for guys to obviously show themselves and then get a good feeling about themselves, getting some more ice time and looks.
There you go. Defenseman Matthias Ekholm speaking to the media earlier today. Oilers and Mammoth tomorrow from Salt Lake City, 7:30 puck drop. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and wrap up the show. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Contractors, spring cleanup is coming. It's time to get your lawnmowers, aerators, power rakes, lawn vacs, and more serviced at the Lawnmower Hospital. Hey, the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait in line later. Their service department gets crazy busy as the season rolls on, so get in now while it's calm. For quick service on top brands like Bluebird, Ryan Turf, Husqvarna, and more, check out lawnmowerhosp.com. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian and 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyegg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max, an estimated $75 million. Get your ticket, playalberta.ca. Jays in action, trailing 2-1. Shohei Ohtani leading off the third with a single that turned into a double when Josh Fleming committed the error. And then Kyle Tucker just about hit a home run, but he didn't. It went foul. So Jays trailing 2-1. We'll join that game immediately following the Jason Gregor Show on our AM feed only. But right now, let's get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no OT charges, furnace repair, and maintenance. Do it now with legacyheating.ca. And as we do every day here on the Jason Gregor Show, let's get to it. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning.
The best. I mean, the absolute best words in any sport. Any sport. Game 7. And it's in Edmonton. Tonight. Rogers Place. Talk to me now. Oil Kings. Saskatoon Blades. And speaking 7, that's how many seconds left. Third period. Sunday. When the Blades tied the game 2-2, gift wrapping it to overtime. Edmonton's got 14 players back from last year's playoff roster. 10 of them played in that Game 7, including goalie Ethan Simcoe. Cool under pressure? You bet. Behind the bench, assistant coaches Devin Prott and Kyle Chipchura have been through this as players and coaches. And head coach Jason Smith? He's 1-1 in Game 7s as an NHL player. Tonight, he's rolling the lines first as a coach. Oh, and Carter Sochinen? The guy's 2-0 in Game 7s with Portland. 2 assists plus 4 rating. Not bad. And how's this? This is the second consecutive Game 7 in the first round for the Oil Kings. Last year, they were eliminated by the Prince Albert Raiders. If you have a pacemaker or a faint heart, well, you might want to consider very carefully going to tonight's tilt. And here's why. 4 games have been decided by a single goal. Might want to invite your doc. Now here's my question. Who is in net tonight for the Oil Kings? The 20-year-old veteran Ethan Simcoe or 18-year-old Parker Snell? Both are 3-3 in the playoffs. Experience? Simcoe. Momentum? Snell. He won Sunday and was first star of the game. We all know the miles put on in junior hockey. Edmonton to Saskatoon, a 5.5-hour drive, or maybe 44 Timmies and 99 Timbits. And yes, we joke about that. But 8 years ago, on this day, we only need to say one word, a name, if you will, to be stopped in our tracks. Humboldt. May we experience safety on the ice. To and from the game for Game 7, and every other game we see or play. We're back with Carius tomorrow morning with something we call Cam and Eggs. The 2-minute warning. Haley, Kruger, Mac. This is Cam Tate, Sports, 1440.
Great words there from Cam Tate, as per usual. Yeah, we talked about it earlier on. It was on this day in 2018, the Humboldt bus crash, which unfortunately took the lives of 16 players and staff of the Humboldt Broncos, 13 injured. It was just a crazy, sad event that happened. And I still, I'll never forget I was on scrolling Twitter and kind of got some texts from people in the biz, and they're like, it's really bad. It's not going to be good. And it was true. The survivors have done amazing things, which has been really inspirational. Kind of honor the memory of those lost. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking if you're driving home today, you'll see some sticks out for Humboldt today. The goaltending question for the Edmonton Oil Kings. We did have Matt Baird on the program earlier today, and it's true. Like Cam's right. Both these goalies have started 3 games. I would be going Parker Snell for me, the rook. Momentum for sure. I do like that he's going to do a bus ride, get no sleep, and get right back out there. And NHL goalies can't go back to back, but that's a topic for another day. But I think that's the road I would go with. Ride the hot hand. The way things have gone for Miroslav Holinka, probably going to score a goal or 2. He's been unbelievable. 7 goals in the 6 games played so far, as Sachin, his line mate, we heard about. So it's going to be a good one. If you're looking for something to do tonight, you're on the road, don't want to go home, sun's still out, head down to Rogers Place. $20. Oilkings.ca for tickets. Freddie Freeman just went yard. Dodgers lead 4-1. Fleming, not a great start. Scherzer, 2 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed. The Dodgers team is dang good. In the NHL, after 20 minutes, the Sabres lead in the Lightning 2-1. Nothing changing there. Winnipeg and Seattle are underway. No score yet. Big game for both of those teams as the playoff picture closing for both of them. You got the Sharks in the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. That's an 8 o'clock start, so you can get to that one later on. And then Nashville taking on the LA Kings. That one set for 8:30. Big game, again, for both of those teams as they're trying to get that wild card spot. You got the National Championship, Michigan and UConn. You got Oil Kings hockey, baseball. Tons going on tonight. Deck, What's going to happen here? Are you leaning UConn?
Michigan.
Michigan by how many? That's my next question.
Not 6.5.
Less than 6.5?
I don't know, man. Those free throws could bump it up a little bit. It's so tough to tell. I'll say 81-74 Michigan. The hook gets you
7 points.
Yeah.
Oh man,
hook will get you either way.
That'll be something. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And then, the way they set it up down in Indianapolis, like at the football stadium, elevate the court. It's going to be something for sure. Looking forward to that one. 1-833-401-1440. As we did mention, the Edmonton Oilers, they're not going to be playing until tomorrow night, taking on the Mammoth. Puck drop in that one's going to be 7:30. Our pregame coverage will come your way at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. It does look like Colton Dock is going to get back into the lineup. He skated on the third line today with the Oilers, so that's an encouraging sign. I think that that youthful exuberance that he might bring in the playoffs, if he's on the ice, I think that's something to watch out for. That music means we're done. Big thank you to everyone. Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan as well, Sean Brown co-hosting. We had Zach Lang, Matt Barrett, the voice of the Oil Kings, Eduardo Encina covers the Tampa Bay Lightning, Kevin Woodley, Speck, and Cam Tate. Go check out jasongregor.com or Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, and make sure you check that one out. Tomorrow, it's game day edition, so of course we'll be joined by Speck. We'll have Struddy, Dave McCarthy, hopefully Terry Ryan. I know he's in Toronto. And we might even do some NFL draft talk since we're just, 3 weeks out from that. Before all this, though, we got to get to our final Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 15,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 new vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca. Good night.
Is a Sports 1440 update.
Toronto Blue Jays currently in action. They trail the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-1 in the top of the third. Other games around the league see the Nats lead the Cards 2-0. Red Sox lead the Brewers 3-0. Padres up 1-0 on the Pirates. Reds over the Marlins by the same score, and the Royals lead the Guardians 2-1. Finals from earlier today, just the one game, saw the Rays over the Cubs 6-4. NBA action, Knicks lead the Hawks 43-36. 8 minutes to go in the second. Piston trailed the Magic 42-36 with just about 7:45 to go in the second. Two games going on right now in the NHL. Sabres lead the Lightning 2-1 at the end of the first period, while the Kraken and the Jets currently tied 0-0, 13:45 left in the first. College basketball national championship tonight, 6:50 tip between Michigan and UConn out at Lucas Oil Stadium. And in the WHL, the Edmonton Oil Kings and Saskatoon Blades will play their Game 7 puck drop 7 p.m. at Rogers Place. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been Sports 1440 Update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.